Christian Miller.
It's time for the Miller's Edge with four-time SEC champion and two-time national champion Christian Miller.
Once again with Christian Miller taking him down.
Here's college football playoff national champion Christian Miller on Tide 100.9 and 12:30 a.m. WTBC.
And welcome into this MLK Jr. Monday edition of the Miller's Edge. Tide 100.9, 12:30 WTBC. Hope everybody's doing well. And again, like I said, Chase, it's Martin Luther King Jr. Day. So I don't know who all might be maybe off from work, or I don't know how that works in terms of what all is closed. I know the stock market was closed this morning. But anyway, hope you guys are doing well. A nice day to celebrate civil rights leader Martin Luther King and everything that he did and what he stood for. So we're always appreciative of that, and nice to have a day to celebrate it. So I wanted to start the show with that, and then also talk about some sports, Chase, because not only is it Martin Luther King Jr. Day, but it also is National Championship Day. Seems like it's kind of got lost a little bit, at least in our neck of the woods, given that portal weekend has been going on. You got NFL divisional rounds going on, some really good football being played. I don't know if you saw that play by Caleb Williams last night. You talk about probably one of the best football plays I've seen in quite some time. I mean, 2nd and 26, clearly up there. Hell, Jalen Milroe, shout out to my guy with the grave digger play, him and Isaiah Bond at Auburn. But, man, that throw by Caleb Williams kind of, I think it was like 4th and 4, running backwards, flips back around, last second, just sends it right in the back of the end zone. I mean, that was incredible. They didn't win the football game, but still, I'll say this, man, Chase, he's kind of, I wouldn't necessarily say grown on me because I didn't have problems with him, but I remember, when he was coming out, some of the antics, some of, the interviews, a lot of people were turned off by, and rightfully so. I mean, he kind of carried himself a certain way. But to be fair, man, he had a really good football season this past season. And it seems like he's kind of growing up and maturing, even listening to him post-game, how he was speaking in the press conference. I was impressed. I was impressed. So I think the Bears have a good one in Caleb, and I think he's going to do a lot of good stuff for those guys. Another game that was tough to watch. You had the Texans. Well, that one was not tough to watch. It was a good game, but the Texans game, I don't know if you caught that one, Chase, but man, Will Anderson, is a dog. We all knew that. Terminator. We knew everything about him. And me and my dad sat on the show and we said, man, if you put this guy in the right system, in the right scheme, and let him eat, man, he is going to be tough to deal with. And he's flourished ever since he got to Houston, being allowed to line up in that wide 9 technique, really just fly off the edge and just do what he does best, and that's cause havoc. I think he had 3 sacks, some forced fumbles. I mean, he's all over the place. I hate it for the guy in that Texans defense, who was so good, but unfortunately their offensive struggles, man. They just couldn't get past him, and unfortunately they're out of it. But we'll have to see. I don't know if I'm completely out on C.J. Stroud. I know a lot of people definitely are. I mean, he's a young, talented quarterback. I think he has a lot left in him to improve, and you never know. I mean, sometimes you go through these slumps, but he's had a couple seasons now where things were looking like they were in line for those guys to go and do some things, and he hadn't played his best ball in some of those big moments. But nonetheless, some really good football taking place, and hopefully we got some good football tonight as Miami will face the Indiana Hoosiers, who knocked us out of the college football playoffs, arguably one of the best teams in recent years in college football. Had the chance to do something that I don't think has ever been done, and that's go 16-0, which would be a very impressive feat. We'll see if they can do it. They got to travel to the backyard of the Hurricanes, playing literally in Miami, which is kind of crazy to play for a national championship game in your backyard. But it's happening, and we'll see if Indiana can overcome that. Chase, I'll be honest, we'll talk a little bit about that game. My dad's going to hop on here a little bit later. I want to get his thoughts for sure with that one. Plus, and we'll talk a lot about this transfer portal. Had a big weekend here for Alabama. I've had plenty of time to watch the tape. Matter of fact, probably too much time. I'll be so glad when this whole thing is done and over with. I know it's fun and exciting, or at least it started off that way. But, I mean, when it comes to having to watch tape on one guy, watch tape on another, Chase, I just was telling you, I mean, I spent a couple hours pretty much on each guy, right? Because I'm like, why? Here's the thing, guys. I don't just watch. Don't give me highlight tape. I don't want to see highlight tape. Don't give me stats. I don't care about stats. I want to see who the player is on a down-to-down basis. So each guy, I mean, I've been watching several games for. And when I tell you I'm tired, Chase, and I remember Friday, you and me were both wrestling fans, so I enjoy sitting back. That's one of my my things I like to do, right? When I'm not doing the show, when I'm not talking about football, I like watching wrestling. I enjoy it. I'm trying to watch SmackDown, Chase. We getting commits. I got people tag me, hey, we need the breakdown. We need the breakdown. I'm like, golly, man, can I get a break from breaking tape down? So didn't have much of that. A lot of activity Friday. Saturday, there's a lot of activity. Been talking about that. We picked up an edge from South Carolina. Obviously, I played edge. I'm a big fan of the position, so I was excited to dive into his tape. I've got plenty of thoughts on that. I watched about 5 or so of his games all the way through, so I'll tell you my thoughts on him. Plus, the Panthers are paying. That's in his backyard. He's a former Gamecock, so he spent a lot of time watching that team, being around that team. So he has some thoughts, can tell us a little bit about the young man as well. So we'll do all that. We'll talk a lot about the transfer portal and the updates over the weekend. Got to talk about this national championship game. It's very intriguing, in my opinion. I think it should make for a really good football game. And we'll keep on rolling. 205-342-9904 is the number to the program. If you guys want to get in on the conversation, we always encourage you guys to call in. If not, you can always leave an app message. You can do that by downloading, the Tide 100.9 app, completely free on the Apple App Store, Google Play Store, all that good stuff. And it also allows you to listen to not just this show, but all the shows wherever you are at. Plus, we do live stream as well, which a lot of you guys really enjoy. So make sure you guys check us out on YouTube at The Miller's Edge. If you haven't already, completely free. We just ask you just hit that like button on the way in and subscribe if you guys enjoy the content. Plus, if you're on Facebook, you can check us out on the Tide 100.9 Facebook page as well. Same thing, completely free. That being said, Chase, let's hit our first time out. We come back, we'll talk a little bit about this national championship game before we really dive into the big portal talk. Again, a lot of activity over the weekend. I told you guys, be patient, let it all play out. We'll see kind of how this thing unfolds. And now we've pretty much seen a good piece of it. Not saying there's not more to come. There's still going to be a little bit of movement, I'm sure, but I feel like we've kind of gotten through the thick of it. That said, I'm going to update you guys. I'm going to update you on where we stand as a roster with the new additions, what I think of the new additions, and so forth. All that coming up right on the Miller's Edge. Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC. Real quick, just a quick schedule for this week. I told you guys my dad's going to join us today. We'll chop it up with him. Tomorrow, we've got Mike Johnson, former Alabama offensive lineman, does a great job doing radio out of Atlanta. He's going to join us because we talk so much about offensive line play. Well, we got to get an offensive lineman on here. We're going to talk to Big Mike. We're going to ask him about the offensive line from this past season, get his thoughts on where things stand right now, because I definitely have a number of thoughts on that, but I would love to get his perspective. So we'll do that tomorrow, and then we'll be joined by Clint on Wednesday at the top of the hour as well. So we got scheduled right now for the week. I'll keep you guys posted for some more guests that might jump on here throughout the week, and we'll keep on rolling right here on the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC. Quick timeout. Don't go anywhere. We're just getting started.
It's the grand reopening of the all-new Tuscaloosa Mazda. Get the grand reopening price. Plus, make...
What's up, guys? Let me clear my throat. Let me get my water, actually. I needed that. Sorry, guys. All this cold weather, man. So after the portal additions, which was good, I still have concerns with this team's inexperience right now. I see this as an 8-4, 9-3 football team. That was QD in the chat. I'm about right there with you, QD. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'll dive into it in a little bit, but I'm with you. Which I think, if I had to guess, that's probably what about everybody in the national media is probably going to have Alabama at preseason. I don't see anybody having us over a 9-win projection right now, if I'm being completely honest with you. I know some people might get upset with that, but just where things stand, I think that's about what you're going to expect. Which, to be fair, it sounds worse than it really is. If you think about it nowadays, think about last year. I don't think there's anybody a 10-win projected season. I think probably was about the highest. So a 9-win, if they have Alabama at 9 wins, I don't think that's that bad. If anything, I think it's actually pretty fair and probably accurate, judging the situation in terms of the youth you mentioned, new quarterback, replacing a lot of people. Yeah, preseason according to On3, we'll talk about that too, Seth, at 17. That's what I'm saying. So if you're the writing's on the wall. I mean, if you're ranked preseason 17, I mean, I think over under 8.5 is not only realistic, but probably expected. Which again, man, I mean, when you look at this roster, of where everything's at right now. I know, and we'll talk about it. I know there's a lot of new, faces, a lot of movement going on. Um, and I know from just like a fan perspective, we're just fired up and excited seeing the movement. But I'm just going to keep it a buck with you guys. That's what I do. Some might not be everybody's cup of tea. I do it in a very respectful way and an honest and fair way. But still, some people prefer just to hear people that just pump a whole bunch of sunshine. I can't do that. It's my credibility on the line. If I'm being completely honest with you, after watching a lot of these guys that we brought in, I can't say I'm overly confident that we really upgraded this football team. That I'm just being completely honest with you. I just can't. And that's after me. That's not me watching highlights. That's not me going and watching or looking up PFF numbers and stats. Remember, guys, I'm a former player. We're not doing like I don't know what just happened. Can you guys hear me all right? Dang, Smitty, are you being honest today? Smitty, I'm surprised. Let me know if you guys can hear me all right. I don't know if it kicked me out and I came back. Chase, is it good? All right, cool. Wait, you said you can. All right, cool. Yeah, basically what I was saying before I got kicked out. And again, it wanted to sound like a tool. It's just me being straight up with you guys. Where are all these extra Christians on the screen, man? I just have to preface by saying that so you guys know, man. Like nothing I say is hating. None of it is to be negative. None of it's to do anything but just be completely honest with you with my assessment. The way I like to do it, you guys know. I treat it as if I'm sitting on a desk like Coach Saban is, and they're asking for his breakdowns. I mean, he's same thing. That's what I like to do. So just a heads up. So if you kind of hear it, it sounds like the guys I'm breaking down don't really sound I don't know, like the biggest impact guys. It's just my take off of the tape I watched. Again, I'm talking about watching, like I've watched 3, 4, 5 games sometimes of all of these players on a down to down basis. And welcome back into this Martin Luther King Jr. edition of the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC. Again, Pastor Payne will be joining us here in a little while. We'll talk all things from national championship game, some of these transfer portal editions, and more here on the show. But Chase, let's dive into a few little, I guess, early talking points that I want to throw out that I didn't mention in the first segment, because there's been a lot of things that I've seen online, which I need a break. I think I'm going to take me like a digital detox after this whole portal thing is done, man. I feel like I've just been on my phone, on social media in terms of news and everything way too much. But there's been way too early top 25 lists dropping. We'll talk about that here in a minute. There's been, I guess, talk about potential playoff expansion, which Chase, I don't even want to start there. I mean, listen, we've got enough issues as it is. But matter of fact, I am going to start there so we can get this out of the way, because I want you to tell me if I'm tripping or not. So allegedly, this is according to On3, by the way. The SEC would rather keep the playoff at 12 teams than expand to 24. However, Greg Sankey's targeting a 16-team playoff. But the Big Ten allegedly is not budging on the idea of expanding this thing to 24 teams. Now, just to remind you, today is the 19th of January, and we're just now playing the college football national championship game. And that's with a 12-team playoff. Now, there is a number of, weeks and days between some of these games. You probably could shrink that down a little bit. But, Chase, I'm just trying to wrap my head around this. A 24-team playoff for football. I mean, I feel like we're just getting a little excessive. Like 16 already feels a little much. But this is what I'll say. I really don't mind 16 too much, and here's why. Tonight, you've got the Miami Hurricanes taking on the Indiana Hoosiers. Indiana was the number 1 seed overall in this thing, but Miami was the number 10 seed. And a lot of people felt they probably shouldn't even have got in. Now, one could argue, and I think this would be the right argument, they should have been playing in their conference championship game, but they have issues with the whole ACC and deciding who's in the championship game. That needs to be addressed. Duke, really? Come on now. Like, Miami should have been in there, but they weren't. And they were at risk of missing it because we also have the whole deal. And I wouldn't call it necessarily a charity case because I do think people probably deserve some type of chances if they've earned it. I wouldn't be opposed to maybe doing some type of NIT version for football, though. I think that's more fitting because I think we've seen when we have had Tulane and James Madison in the playoffs, it's clearly a whole different league. So maybe they just need their own national championship, and I think that probably would be – even if you start with a 4-team one, 4-team NIT-type national championship playoff deal for the smaller schools. Anyway, what I'm getting at is Miami's playing this national championship game, but they almost didn't even make it in a 12-team playoff because – it's really a 10-team playoff with the potential of having 1 or 2 group of 4 schools or whatever the name is now, group of 5, in there. So if you move it to 16, you don't risk having a team like Miami missing it. Like, I think Notre Dame still probably should have been in the playoffs, not necessarily over anybody, but in terms of the quality of team that they are. I mean, Notre Dame should have been in it over the JMU or even hell. I mean, if you wanted to say maybe, I don't know, shout out to Digger. I know you guys love that phone call. I would have much rather seen a team like Texas. I'm just saying, if you have 16 teams, you bump that another probably at least 4 more teams. So you still have the 2, I guess, small schools that make it in there. But now to me, this is how I view it, Chase. I know I'm kind of saying a whole bunch, but I'm trying to form it the right way. I feel like realistically, if you look at the top 25, there's really probably only at most 12 to 14 teams who you look at and really say, all right, they actually have a chance of competing for a national championship game. I think 16 is like the most because you still could include a small school or 2 without excluding a team like Notre Dame who should be in there to actually make it competitive. And I think that would probably be about as most as I would feel comfortable with, and I think that would make sense. I don't know the exact dynamic of how you get to the 16 or who plays who or who has the bye and this, that, and the third. I mean, we'd have to draw up the chart or really discuss that in depth. We got plenty of things to talk about today, so I don't want to spend too much time on it. But Chase, tell me what you think about that. What are your thoughts? I mean, do you think 16 is probably the cap, and that's actually not terrible if you were to do that? I mean, I'm fine with 12, but clearly they're going to expand. More games equals more money, and we all know right now, if you haven't learned anything from this whole transfer portal madness, money kind of is what makes this whole thing go around. It is what it is. It's going to be expanded. So what would you rather have, Chase, 16 or 24? And obviously I'm asking you guys too. You guys in the chat, anybody listening on radio, if you guys want to call in or leave an app message, let me know. But what do you think, Chase? 24 way too much, or you think it's doable?
I think 24 is way, way too much. I think just the amount of injuries that has happened, Christian, for all the teams in this playoff format. You think about the longevity of the season. They're trying to add more conference games as it is too. And honestly, what's stopping the college football playoff committee or who makes the decisions? Why not 32? Why not the number get bigger and bigger every season? And I just feel like it's gotten to a point where it's more of a money-driven type of corporation than actually kind of the love of college football, because I felt like it was fine at 12. I thought the way it ran, with the networks and stuff like that, people actually enjoy it. And then the timing of it too, with the regular season ending, leading into the conference games, then into the playoff format, I think it flowed well. But now that you're having the transfer portal, how that's just a mess right now, and it's kind of intertwining, and then with high school recruits, it's just too much going on at a lot right now. And I just feel like if they keep adding on more games, it's going to be a cluster. And I feel like also you had mentioned, which is a great idea, NIT, for teams that don't perform well in the playoffs, like Tulane and like James Madison and like SMU last year. I feel like that would generate a lot more numbers than just watching a blowout game with a Power 5 team. So that's actually a good point.
Yeah, and listen, even if you just start with like a 4-team playoff, kind of like what I was a part of when it first started in 2014, you know what I mean? Like just something that makes more sense for them and keeps them on their playing field, not disrespecting them. It's just, listen, I was just talking, ironically, my neighbor, he played at Tulane, and, his quarterback was in town, and we all were chopping it up. And I mean, you're just talking with them. The biggest difference, when you're talking about a program at that level, I mean, really, it's always going to be in the trenches, right? Skill guys, there's not a huge difference always. Obviously, there's going to be much more consistent competition at higher levels, but the trenches is the biggest difference. And I think it just shows when these teams play each other. I mean, you can just clearly see that there still is a difference, even if these teams are one-loss teams and they've maybe played a close one against, I don't know, a P4 school early in the regular season, maybe not even a close one, right? Didn't Tulane play Ole Miss already, or wasn't that a rematch or something like that? I can't remember.
Yeah, it was.
Right, and the first time they played, I don't think it was that close of a game either. I think it still was at least a 2-score game. Again, it's going off the top of my head. Lord knows if I'm right or not, but I don't know. Let's see what you guys think. Top 4 would no longer get buys in 16 teams. Based on the results, they shouldn't want that bye. Bye teams are 1-7. I mean, yeah, I get the history of it, but you look at Indiana. I mean, Indiana, like, they got better after having that bye. Normally, you would want to buy. I mean, just like, I don't know. You would think having – the problem is they have too much time. You do want a little bit of time. Like, a bye is not a bad thing. You would rather not have to play an extra game. However, to be fair, you're right. I mean, typically it seems like the teams that do have the bye, they have too much time off and they come back a little rusty and ends up being an issue. Once again, Coach Saban is right, like he always has been. I mean, if you keep expanding, like no one cares about bowl games outside the playoffs anymore. I can't even tell you who played in a bowl game outside the playoffs. Actually, Digger, shout out to Digger again. Didn't Texas play Michigan? That's the only one I think I actually really can name right now off the top of my head. No one cares about that anymore. So, I mean, you just keep expanding. I mean, the bowl season's completely different. It's just, I don't know. I think 16, if you're going to go to that, I don't think it'd be terrible because I don't think it'd be that big of a difference. You already got a 12. And I'll be honest, this 12 one feels pretty long, man. Like, just think about if it was Alabama that was still playing. They would have played in an SEC championship game. Then they played Oklahoma on the road. Then they had to go play in the Rose Bowl. Then they would have had to go and play Oregon. You know what I mean? Like, that's a lot of football, man. I mean, it really is, especially on these younger guys. And I get that they're paid now and it's a little bit different, but that's still a lot of football games being played. And you're right. You do see some of these injuries start, I'm not saying they necessarily piled up, but they clearly started coming into play. I mean, whether it's Ole Miss's running back, his hamstring gets tweaked. You see Miami has a number of guys start going down and people just start getting banged up, man. I mean, football is a physical sport. And just throwing on way too many games like that, I don't know. I don't think it's necessarily the right idea, but I don't know. You guys let me know what you guys think. 16, 24, neither. I don't know. Just wanted to throw that in there. We got to hit a timeout. We come back. Again, we'll dive into the transfer portal talk now because when my dad gets on here, I want to get his thoughts on this national championship game. So I'll save a little bit for that, even if it's at the end of the show. We got to at least talk about it briefly because it's the college football national championship game. However, we got to hit some of this portal news, which I know a lot of you guys are eager to talk about. We'll do that when we come back, and we'll keep on rolling right here on the Miller's Edge, Top 100.9, 1230, WTBC. And that's a good point. That dude says, when is it too many games for 18 to 22? You might want to bump that about 26 now. 26-year-olds to play, going from high school and playing 17 games in a season is crazy. Hey, you're not wrong, man. You're not wrong. Because think about it. In high school, you play what? Is it like 10 guaranteed games before the like playoffs? And then you're bumping that up to like 17. I mean, that's a lot of football. And not only just bumping it up, you're bumping up the competition. Like, I would be sore after playing a high school game, cool. But it's because I'm running around playing a million snaps, hitting people. When you get to college, though, you're talking about you real deal beating up because you're like banging and hitting, a lot bigger people. And in high school, the average lineman is probably 6 foot, 210 pounds, maybe 230 pounds. Versus college, you're going against 6'6", 340. on a consistent basis, that's a lot, man. That's a lot to be doing it 17 times in a year. I ain't gonna lie to you. I mean, I had a dude that's trying to play me on one of our reels. Like, man, what is Christian talking about? He was hurt his whole career. I'm like, brother, I mean, that's a part of the game. And I wasn't. I did, suffer a number of injuries, but listen, as part of it, man, it's a contact sport. And you're playing at a high level too. Oh, you have the same cup? That's funny, man. Yeah, it's got the football cup, man. Got the football cup. A lot of you guys are saying 12. Yeah, I'm cool with 12, but the reality is it's probably going to be between 16 and 24. I mean, I don't know what the Big Ten's obsession is with 24. I mean, that is crazy to me. 24, like to double it? To me, that just sounds greedy. That's what I'm getting from that. That sounds greedy. 24 teams. Like, let's just call a spade a spade. There aren't even 24 teams that can genuinely compete for a national championship. Like, this is not basketball. So whoever's calling these shots, man, they need to get right. They need to get right. If you guys haven't, man, hit that like button. I think we're at 31. We got like 80 something people in here. Let's try to get that up to 50 real quick during this timeout. Just smash that like button real quick. It'll take like 2 seconds. I'm gonna talk about these portal editions. I don't know where we should start with. How many guys did we land this weekend, by the way? You guys might have to update me because I don't have a specific list. I know I need to talk about Terrence Green. How do you pronounce his last name? Defensive end from South Carolina. Nice coming off the edge when you were healthy. Did a good job sending the edge. I appreciate that. Hell, when I was well. Listen, I had the biceps injury, man. I couldn't do nothing about that. I mean, I tore my biceps. I had to get it surgically repaired. My senior year, I played it every game except the national championship game because I tore my hamstring. But that's another one of those things. And playing down in Miami with that humidity, I think was part of it. Ain't gonna lie to you. So, I mean, to be fair, I missed a good bit of time my junior year, but I wouldn't say it was as bad as, probably could have been. I really just had like one bad biceps injury that I had to get surgically repaired, and then the hamstring was what it was. But everything else, I mean, I played through. But those are the things that actually kept me out. I mean, dude, I had a number of things. I mean, I literally tore my pinky up in practice. I can't even straighten it, which, I mean, I know it's a pinky, but as you guys can see, I mean, it's a pretty big difference. Pretty big difference there. It was said that after 16 networks other than ESPN can host playoff games. Ah, okay. Thank you. That makes sense. I told you, greed, though. Greed, man. That's what it boils down to.
This is Miller's Edge on Tide 100.9.
And welcome back into this MLK Junior edition of the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC. We're rocking and rolling. We got the stream going. We got 35 likes, 90 people listening, man. We got to bump that number up, man. If you guys haven't hit the like button, do that right now. If you guys want me to break down these players, hit that like button. I'm about to start holding you guys. No, let me not use that word on here, but about to start holding you guys to hit that like button, and we'll roll from here. All right. So big weekend this weekend, Chase. Alabama, very active now. Again, we talked about it. The portal closed Friday, but a couple updates on that. First update, we already knew this. You can always continue to recruit guys that are currently in the portal. So it just closed, but that meant you couldn't enter your name in the portal anymore. An update on terms of kind of how this whole thing works is the fact that one thing I did learn, shout out to Cleo on X who tagged us in this, and I didn't realize this either. Schools are still processing portal entries. So what that means is there's going to be guys that entered the portal or at least submitted their paperwork, but it hadn't been fully processed. So you might still see a name or two pop up. That's why that was happening, at least over the weekend. A lot of people were a little confused when they were seeing some guys still entering the portal after it, quote unquote, closed. It's because they weren't fully processed through. I don't know how long that can be delayed. I think the latest from what I read, I think, and what she tagged us in means like you still might see a name or two pop up over the next day or two, maybe up to Wednesday. I forgot what they were saying in terms of like the business day, their calendar and all that stuff, and also being a holiday. So maybe Wednesday might be the latest. But anyway, you might still see a name or two pop up. I don't think it's probably going to be anybody drastic at this point. I feel like you probably would have already known that. There probably would have been some type of pushback or article talking about pushback. But yeah, so just wanted to update you guys on that. But the good news is if your guy didn't, anybody from your team didn't put in his paperwork, didn't get processed, everything's set now. So whoever is on your roster is on your roster, which is outside of the guys coming in, which is good news. So you don't have to worry so much about, oh man, well, what if this guy gets beaten out during spring practice, man? Well, he's out of luck. He's going to have to just ride it out and hang out for the remainder of the season because there is no longer a second portal window. So remember that the new rule was they're limited to one portal window, and that was this past portal window. Your team is your team, which is really good because remember the way it used to go was people would see where they stand via the spring, and then there'd be even more shuffling and changing. And that was just way too chaotic. I mean, there'd be guys that would transfer during this window, test it out, dip their toe in the water during the spring, and then they're out the door again. So luckily that whole thing is done with, and what's set is set outside of the guys that are in the portal as it stands. All right, let's start with, I want to say, Chase, and if I cover this already, January 16th, I want to say was Friday. I think this happened after we got off the show, if I'm not mistaken. You guys correct me if I'm wrong, but we'll recap. I'm going to go back and go off of my tweets because that's what I have to go off of. So let's start with the center from Cal Poly, right? We'll start there. I like this pickup a lot, right? I think it's number one, very much needed. You lose Parker Brailsford, you need to replace the center. I know they brought in the Strayhorn kid from Michigan. A lot of people excited about him, but again, I mean, the kid has not played any snaps other than I think at like maybe right guard when he came in Michigan's bowl game. Didn't look bad there, don't get me wrong, but center is a very important position. I mean, it's outside of your quarterback. I mean, they're like the right hand to the quarterback. It's a big deal. So you go to Cal Poly, which is also where Josh Cuevas came from, and you get a young man who was all Big Sky while he was there. He started the last 2 years at center. And after watching this tape, I watched him against is it Utah, I believe, and I think one more of his games. So I think I got to watch maybe 2 of his games total. But what I got from him, man, I mean, you got the experience at the center position, which is a big plus. You definitely wanted some experience coming in. Watched him in pass pro. He moves his feet well. He does a good job. Statistically, he's only given up 1 sack over the past 2 seasons, which is big. Got to remember, though, that stat's going to be a little bit different than maybe, let's say, a tackle. Center, you got 2 guards next to you. So, I mean, they're typically not giving up a whole hell of a lot of sacks, but still 1 sack in 2 seasons is good. What I really liked about him is he plays with that mean streak. You know what I mean? Like, you see him blocking, until the whistle. He's always trying to look for work. He's always trying to climb up, trying to get his hands on somebody. Very active. I mentioned him moving well, which is a big plus. So there's a lot of good things about him. Only a couple of things that I noted is he does well when he latches on you. He's going to run his feet and he's going to look to finish blocks. I love all that. What I will say is, though, I do think him getting stronger will help him out a lot because he doesn't have a bunch of power on initial contact. That's one thing I did notice. You know what I mean? Like, he's not going to pack a big punch coming off the football. And it could change. I think if he gets bigger and stronger, it definitely would help him. But so far off tape, I mean, he doesn't have this, initial power at the punch, at the point of contact, which I want to see more of. But best believe when he does get his hands on you, he's going to run his feet and he's going to make sure he does what he needs to do. So he plays with solid technique. Like I mentioned, he moves well. Watching their offense, they're asked to do a lot of movement. I watched him do a lot of pin and pull. I watched him have to pull a lot. In different looks. So I believe this system that he's coming from is going to position him to easily translate to what he's going to be asked to do in this system, which Parker Brailsford had to do a lot of, having to be mobile and play in space. So this pickup was one of, in my opinion, the better pickups. This guy is probably going to be competing for that starting, not even probably, he is going to be competing for that starting center job. And I'm not surprised at all if he ends up being the center. In fact, I expect him to probably be your starting center for 2026. Now, he's going to have to win the job. They're not just going to hand it to him. But right now, I feel like he's probably the favorite to do so. And I think, to me, this is a good get. I know sometimes people, they go off of these transfer portal rankings. Please stop doing that. It gets on my nerves. I don't know who comes up with these rankings. I don't know how you rank 3,000 guys. There's no way you're watching all those guys. I don't buy into it. I go off of what I see on watching tape. This guy's a good football player. The other thing to him is, coming from Cal Poly, let's just call a spade a spade. I mean, it's going to be an adjustment. Now you're playing in Alabama. Now you're lining up against the likes of LSU. I know we don't play Oklahoma, I don't think, on this schedule, but still, I mean, you're talking about teams that are known to have some dudes up front. That's going to be an adjustment. So how quick can he get acclimated? We'll have to see. But the good news is watching him play Utah, which is, a decent school, he held his own. He actually did a really good job. So I don't think the adjustment for him will be that big of a deal. Like, it's going to be there. I mean, there's no denying it. But I'm not too concerned with him making that adjustment. I think it's just a matter of getting more reps, playing more. I know he has experience on that level, but just getting more experience in this conference, and I think that'll go a long way for him. So, again, is it Rayson Delgatti? One cool-ass name, I can definitely say that. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, but really cool if that is. I'm sure he's probably going to have a whole bunch of NIL opportunities with a name like that, let alone being an offensive lineman at the University of Alabama. So, definitely really big on that pickup, much needed, and I think it's probably, honestly, one of the best pickups that we had. So there's that. Let's move on to another offensive lineman that ended up signing with the University of Alabama, this time coming out of Texas, Nick Brooks. Really big player, Chase. I mean, you're talking about, this dude is massive, 6'7", 350. I went back and watched a little bit of him out of high school because he played some tackle, and I watched him in pretty much all the games that he played this season. He started against Oklahoma. He started against Mississippi State. And I want to say there was one or two other games that I watched, and I'm completely drawing a blank. But anyway, I think he started in like 4 games this season. They had him playing at guard, which I'll be honest with you, after seeing him move, I understand why he was moved to guard. Listen, for a big guy, you don't really expect them to move so well. But I will say this, he does move better than expected for being such a large human being, right? Like he does move quite well. However, I will say this, he's kind of top heavy, at least the way he plays. So he has really bad balance and body control. He finds himself on the ground a lot. He lunges a lot, kind of just putting his head down and trying to work that away instead of using good technique. So if I'm being completely honest with you guys, I know a lot of people are really excited, and they just, again, you go off stats. They just say, oh, started 4 games in Texas. Oh, he's going to come in here and I'm going to be completely transparent. He's very raw technically, like very raw. Like he started 4 games, and for anybody that does like stats, I did at least see this when I was trying to research him. I think his PFF grade was like a 17. So again, I don't go off his stats. That didn't matter to me. Matter of fact, I saw that late when I was trying to get more like information on him to kind of write up the report. But just watching him on tape, he's going to need a lot of work. He's more of a developmental guy. I don't look at him coming in and being some sure starter here. Now, if they can work with him this offseason and get him ready to roll and really develop him both physically, because I think that would help, work on some of that flexibility that he struggles with, might be able to get that out of him, might not. Sometimes when guys are stiff and they're not flexible, that's sometimes how they are. You can probably work it a little bit, but I think kind of getting in that weight room and having him develop more physically will help him out as well. Because again, he was a true freshman last year. So I am taking that into consideration. Like, he's a young player. And I'll get to this in a minute. This is what I talk about with us being so young. Well, let's see. Oh, flashes some physicality and run blocking. He definitely does, but he's got to be more consistent, especially being 6'7", like 350. Like, I want to see him play like that all the time. Sometimes you'll see it, he's got a punch to him when he turns it on. Then other times it's not really there. That needs to be consistent. I don't know if it's a fatigue thing or maybe just a technique thing, but I would really like to see him play like that all the time. Because, with that frame and the ability to move like he does, which you can see it in this first clip if I put it on the screen right here. You see him washing the guy down. He gets excited because he sees his back break. You look at him move. The guy to be that big, he can move a little bit, right? But he's got to be able to do that on a consistent basis. And that's where I think getting in the weight room, getting his condition up, and again, just growing and maturing, right? Because again, the guy is a true freshman. I think that'll help him. But again, just looking at him now, he's not a shirt. I think he's more of a depth piece, more of a project where maybe if you need some depth at tackle, he played it in high school, you see how that looks. But judging off of his pass pro that I watched, he struggles, and it's a work in progress. I mean, he's definitely going to need a lot of work there. So, and I'll be honest with you, I think guard is probably better for him in terms of. I would not feel comfortable putting this guy on the island right now. I'm not saying he can't develop into that, but there's a reason they moved him to guard at Texas, in my opinion. Even just kind of like little things, which he'll learn with more reps and experience, like passing off stunts, picking up movement up front. He struggled mightily with that. So my overall on the guy was young, raw talent. He's got significant upside if you're talking about the tools that he works with. I mean, 6'7", 350 pounds. There's flashes where you see that physicality, but he's got to learn how to use that to his advantage, like really be, that mauler that he can be with that God-given size and ability, which I think will come with time. But again, he's a true freshman last year, and you're talking about a true sophomore this year. I don't see him coming in and stepping into the lineup and just being a huge upgrade. Like, I'll be honest with, like, comparing what I watched on tape from last year to even like the likes of, Dewberry or even like a Jaden Roberts. He's not even quite there yet, like where those guys were, because he's young. So a lot of development needed for this young man. So he's got all the tools, but the development is critical and consistent reps. So I mean, the spring practice portion is going to be big. From a fundamental standpoint, he's got to get into this new system. And this leads me to this, because I got a lot to talk about. I know I'm kind of going long-winded, but I know a lot of people have been hitting me with Coach DeBoer is trying to get his guys, the guys that fit what they want to do. But this is a guy that, to me, does not fit what, people are saying this offense is tailored to. Just watching him, like, he might move better for a bigger guy, but to me, he reminds me more of somebody that we would have had on the roster the past few years. To me, I don't think asking a guy like this to be pulling and doing a whole bunch is probably his strong suit. So I have a hard time believing that all these acquisitions were based off of getting these guys in. If I'm being honest with you, I'm not buying that. I think I think Haywood and maybe the center makes sense, but even the Ole Miss guy, this guy, to me, and Strayhorn's kind of in between. I don't really see those guys as just being like big different types of players in terms of their athletic profile than what we had. So that's why I say I don't think it's all that. I know, think Tia was asking about that. I think it was a number of things. The fact was, I know this. I mean, they not encouraged, but they were okay with letting some guys walk. But then they also had some guys that wanted to go elsewhere. They knew that some of the staff wasn't high on them as players, and they wanted to, search new opportunities. So I think it's a mixture of, they probably wanted to get some guys in there that maybe were a little bit better of a fit, but you also need a body. So it's not all these guys, in my opinion, come off as like some major, I guess, upgrade or different type of profile in terms of who they are as football players. In fact, and I'll get to this here in a minute when I talk about the O-line. I'll be honest with you. I mean, if you're being honest by watching the tape and just being transparent, which I'm doing with you guys, again, I'm sorry if you guys get mad at me. I'm just being fair. I would almost say majority of the guys that we brought in, I feel like were lateral moves. Now, I know people are going to get frustrated and give me pushback. You're welcome to offer your opinion, but unless you watch tape on all these players, I'm not going to listen to it much, because I watched all these guys, and I even watched our guys, and I've seen our guys, and I can't say really outside, again, the center, and really he's about the only one that I feel like, all right, he's got a chance to really put in there, and I feel confident about what he can do. And I still would argue that I don't think he's as good as Parker Brailsford, if I'm being honest with you, after watching both players. I mean, he's probably got some potential and some more out of him because he's younger. But if you're just comparing what we had out of Parker Brailsford last year then to the guy we just brought in, respectfully, Parker Brailsford is he clears his guy, like, without a doubt. And I'm not trying to be rude. I'm just being honest. Looking at tackle, I mean, people complain about Caden Proctor. And listen, he struggled against speed off the edge, and we all know that. But you're losing a first round. He's going to be a first-round draft pick, probably better fit at guard. He also was an All-American. He also improved a lot this past year. If I'm being completely honest with you, I don't see anybody we brought in that I think is a better football player than Caden Proctor. So that leads me to my point. I just don't understand how I see a lot of people just like automatically thinking the offensive line is going to be, so much better from what I've seen on tape of what we've replaced a lot of these guys with. even the backups. Like, I mean, Elias Alanin, Ionata, like, I mean, those weren't bad players. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, I don't think they were, all conference players either. But I'm just saying, I feel like the reason I say it felt kind of a lateral move with a lot is because it really just replaced a lot of young developmental pieces with more young developmental pieces. I know before you guys get all upset and in a frenzy, I will say this. That does not mean the upside. I think the upside on Ty Haywood is a lot higher than a guy like Elias Alanin. You get what I'm saying? So like I will say that piece. I mean, Haywood, I think, has really nice upside. And I think I talked about him last week, but I can recap that if I need to. I think the upside is there with some of these guys that we brought in, but the reason I'm calling it a lateral move is because we had developmental guys with upside. Even like DeBose, like the freshman. Please do this. Please go watch his high school tape of what he was coming out of high school. Then go watch like these guys as freshmen or even like his high schools. I'm just saying, you're going to see what I'm saying. There's not like a huge gap between what we brought in and what we had. That's not me to sound negative. I'm just being completely transparent with you. So when I answer the question, I'll end on this before I hit this top hour break. Because somebody had asked me, what's my overall assessment of where we stand at the offensive line? My response was this. I think we're a young, inexperienced group, but there's definitely potential there. Like, don't get me wrong. I mean, I think if you can get it out of Ty Haywood, he can be great. Jackson Lloyd, I think he can be a really good player. You know what I mean? Like, but again, that's all young potential. And I'll get to this in a second, but development is going to be critical. I mean, like, I think the oldest offensive line we have right now is a redshirt sophomore. And just because he's a redshirt sophomore, I think that'd be like Will Sanders. And he kind of played sparingly last season, so it's not like he's had a whole bunch of snaps. So without a doubt, there's going to be growing pains. And if I'm being honest, I don't know how confident I am with it being much better this next season. I explained all that to you. I mean, you're replacing a potential first rounder at left tackle, one of the best centers in the country at a Parker Brailsford. Listen, people can, laugh and joke about Will Conformity all they want, but that dude literally had multiple years of starting experience, and I thought he was okay at guard. Again, I'm not saying he was perfect as a player, but I would, as an offensive line, I would much rather have a role with a guy like Will Conformity than try to gamble on a young player that hasn't really played, even if he has a bunch of upside. That, to me, is just a gamble. So I feel like really 2027 feels a little bit more like the year when this kind of comes together. But right now, I'll be honest, I don't have the most confidence that this offensive line is just going to be magically better. I think it has potential. And could they live up to that potential? I mean, because in this other thing, I mean, you got the same coach, the same system, but with younger, less experienced players. I just don't see how, like, if you take that equation, you come up with they're going to be better. I know some people are like, oh, well, it can't be worse. You can most definitely be worse. And I'll be honest with you, if you actually go watch tape, the offensive line was inconsistent, but they weren't as terrible as maybe some people make it seem, I should say. I do hope the youth, the hunger, these fresh opportunities for these guys, I hope that pushes these guys to really step up. Like, all the competition brewing in that room could help blossom these guys into much better football players. But if you're just looking at it where we're at right now before going into the spring, I mean, pairing a young, inexperienced offensive line with a first-year starting quarterback, I mean, that's just not really ideal. It's not. You're talking about a lot of growing pains and a lot to work through before it really probably starts to get going. So where I'm at right now, guys, is I'm taking the wait and see approach. Again, this is not negative. These are just facts based off of tape and experience. And I'm not saying it can't be better. I'm hoping that everything kind of plays out and these guys develop really nice. But where things stand right now, I can't sit here and look you guys straight in the face and sit here and tell you that I think our offensive line got that much better after this transfer portal process. That's just me being completely honest. So some people are probably going to not like that. If people like real and honest truth and analysis, you should appreciate that. Regardless, we appreciate y'all's support. We got to hit this timeout. When we come back, we'll keep on rolling. Got some more guys to break down. We'll talk about some defenders. And we'll keep on rolling right here on the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230, WTBC. I think the Miller's Edge might be hitting our villain arc. Probably people are going to start getting mad again, man. This kind of reminds me of a couple of years ago. My dad was honest with people. I can see people already right now calling me a hater, but like I told you guys, man, I my credibility's online. I can't sit here and just like lie to you guys. I just don't feel right doing that. I just don't. But hopefully you guys see it's coming from a good place, right? What about system fit? I just talked about that, Carlos. Again, I think to me that's low hanging fruit. System fit would make more sense if everybody you brought in here were athletic profile guys that come from systems. I know some of these guys come from spread systems, cool, but to me, the system fit kind of deal goes out the window when you sign a guy from Texas who's 6'7", 350 pounds. Like, I know he moves well for his size, but he falls under the bill of like what we had. You get what I'm saying? Him, the Ole Miss guy. I haven't been able to even see it, but there's no tape on the Ole Miss guy. I mean, I tried to go back and watch his high school stuff, but what I'm saying, I mean, he's from my knowledge, from the impression that I have, I don't think he's necessarily what they do. Or I guess maybe you're saying for the offense he comes from, maybe. Like I said, I'm just telling you guys, listen, I've seen all the backups that we had that left. I saw those guys the last couple of years, and I watched tape on pretty much all these guys that had tape available. And I'm just telling you, I don't think the system fit is. I think that's just what people are just saying because they hear other people say it. And they're thinking, oh, well, that must be what it is. And I'm just telling you guys, I don't think you're telling the truth, man. We appreciate that. Yeah, that's all. Listen, that's all this is. I know some people aren't going to like that, but I just can't be one of these people, man, that like, and I try my best. Don't get me wrong, guys. Like, I try to spin everything as positive as I can, but it gets to a point where like, and I'll be the first one. It's like, if we come out and we have the best offense line in the country next year, I'll be the first one to say, man, I should have gave those guys more credit. But to be honest, I don't think I really should have. I'm just going off of what it is right now. The recipe is just not ideal. I'm trying to understand where some people I'm seeing. I do understand where it's coming from. As a fan, like you hope, oh well, we're going to be this because it's got to be the fit, and these guys are hungry. And I'm just like, if it worked out like that, I mean, trust me, that would be amazing. But that's just not the reality. I just don't see how you expect the same coach, same system with less experienced players, guys that not just are young but haven't played, and just expect it to be that much better. You guys get where I'm coming from? I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, hell, Jackson Lloyd might like let's look at it like this. Jackson Lloyd might develop and end up being a much better tackle than Caden Prater, right? You know, I'm not going to get too swept into, oh, well, he's an All-American, probably first rounder. However, I mean, that still is hard to replace, but he did have his deficiencies. So you better be eating crow on them being good. You're better off eating crow on them being good than saying they're going to be in their whole. Exactly. And I mean, I think, listen, a lot of people that you probably listen to probably go back and look. Listen, you know, we sat on this show and we said going into this year, I said, I think 10-2, you know, is probably realistic. You could probably maybe squeeze 11-1 out with this group. That's pretty much what happened. We ended up being 10-2. We could have easily been 11-1. I mean, that Oklahoma game, you know, it was what it was. Not making excuses. But we sat here and said when we were looking at the PFF preseason, they said our offensive line was the number one O-line in the country. And me and my dad sat here like, yo, that's crazy. Like, where are they coming up with that? But what happened? The other people that that just go off of that stuff that don't watch tape, everybody was riding that. Then what happened? All these people were backtracking like, man, I don't know what happened this season. I mean, well, that's why I'm telling you guys, man. Like, I'm not going to listen. It might not be what you want to hear, but I promise to God, I'll never steer you guys wrong. I'm not saying I'm right about everything, but when I tell you I dedicate hours to this shit, like, I'm not just going to pull stuff out of a hat to sound cool, man. Like, if I'm telling you what I'm telling you, it's because I've spent, like, I watched that dude from South Carolina for 2 hours yesterday. 2 hours. I told myself I won't even want to be doing this. Now I was supposed to be kicking back and relaxing. But I'm like, nah, I need to do my research. I watched 2 hours of his tape. So, like, when you see people are just like, oh, huge get, like, because they're just saying, oh, he's 6'6", and they say, oh, he played behind Dylan Stewart. I'll talk about him in a second. It wasn't just that. he was backing up Dylan Stewart, but they also had another side. I mean, Brian Thomas, he passed him up. Well, rightfully so. Brian Thomas is a dog. They went to the portal last season and got Kyle Kennard. So it's not like the young man from South Carolina was just sitting behind Dylan Stewart, and that's the only reason he wasn't playing. I mean, I'll give you my honest assessment on him. But first, we got to get to this super chat from Adam. Shout out to Adam. Again, we're going to get Adam on board hopefully at some point. But in the meantime, I talked to Adam, as you guys are probably familiar with. Adam is in law, and Adam's got his firm starting up. I hope I'm not breaking the news. I hope I didn't do that wrong. But if you guys have any law needs, and he actually is doing a number of things. Now I'll make sure I get as much information as possible. I'll pull it up here in a second. Check out Adam and his firm that he's got coming up, man. It's still in the process of being finalized, but when it is processed, man, make sure I'll get with my guy Adam. Seriously. He says, Christian, what defensive scheme do you think would best suit Alabama's defense and maximize the skill of the players? Damn, we're about to come back from break, so I'll answer that when we come back. But do you mean, Adam, like with our current guys that we have, like with our personnel? That's a really damn good question. I'll talk about that. Damn good question. I'm going to get back to y'all's chats too, because I've been running my mouth and I know there's a whole bunch of them. But I promise I'm going to get back to them in a minute. But hell yeah, Adam. Yeah, Adam's firm's coming up. Adam's about to take off, man. Adam's about to take off. I'm going to get that information for you guys here, but we're about to be back. And welcome back into this MLK Junior edition of the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC. Hey, man, Chase got my song playing. That's like my new favorite. I don't know what it is. It's that beat, man. It's got a nice vibe to it. Real quick, national championship game coming up this evening. We're going to talk about that here in a minute. We're going to talk with my dad, get his thoughts on that. But also, the next player in line, I know we got another defender that we got to talk about, but we'll talk about this guy with my dad because he knows a little bit about him as he comes from the University of South Carolina, playing that defensive end position. Same thing my dad did. So we'll get that from him. But first, let me answer Adam's question because this is a really good question as we dive in to the conversation about some of these defensive players that Alabama has acquired via the transfer portal. Adam's question for our radio listeners that missed it is, what defensive scheme do you think would best suit Alabama's defense and maximize the skill of the players? Which is a really good question because, I mean, listen, coaches, their job is yes, they have their scheme and they want to implement it and they want to get that going. But you got to look at your personnel and see what you're able to work with, right? Can those guys run what you want to run? You know what I mean? And it's different when you're established and you have time to get the guys you want. You look for guys that fit your scheme. But this staff, initially, they had to work with who they had. So anyway, that said, looking at where we stand as a roster, I'll say this. We look like we have a lot more athletic type guys up front than probably we had in the past. I mean, we were in a deep search for a nose trying to replace Tim Keenan. Nobody on the roster, in my opinion, other than Beeman, really felt like a true nose until we just got the young man out of Oregon, which is nice because we needed that desperately. And I'll talk about that pickup. I really like that one, in fact. But I would say this, Adam, I'm still a firm believer that, in today's college football, it's all about matching personnel. And with so much 11 personnel, me personally, I love a 3-4, and I would probably base out of a 3-4 still. But the reality is we wouldn't play a whole bunch of it. But listen, I think what they're running now is probably fit for what you have on this roster. If we're just being completely honest with you, I mean, you look at Tompkins, right, from Southern Cal. He's not a big two-gap type of player. You know what I mean? He's going to be a little bit more on the finesse side of things. So having him, slicing and dicing up front, you know what I mean, more of a penetrating style, I think that's more of a fit. I think I see that out of a number of these guys. The guy from South Carolina, same thing. I mean, you're seeing a lot more athleticism, even like from the linebackers, like Xavier Griffin, who you're bringing in out of high school. I just feel like the direction they're going is a little bit more they want athletes. They want guys that can run. They want guys that can penetrate and be disruptive. And that's different than, the likes of the system I come from, which is much more of a, you're two gap and you got big bodies up front eating blocks up so those linebackers can flow and scrape to the football and make plays. So I think they're probably getting a little bit away from that, and you're seeing a little bit more athleticism and guys that can run. So really, looking at our roster, we only have like 2 or 3 Wolves, maybe. The new guy from South Carolina, he's a little bit of a tweener, kind of in between Wolf and a Bandit. So I think really what they're doing right now, I mean, is probably about fit for the personnel that you have. I mean, listen, I'm always been more of a 4-down type of guy, but I like mint fronts, right? Which ends up being like an odd front out of nickel, and you have a stand up. And I think we actually fit well for that, which is good. If you wanted to say maybe like a 4-3 type deal as a base, given the personnel, I don't think we have great 3-4 personnel. So I wouldn't, to answer your question, I probably wouldn't implement that with our personnel right now. If you want to do a bigger, base, I'd probably say more of a 4-3 would be ideal for base. But the reality is you're going to see a bunch of nickel. So I think what we're doing right now is just fine, Adam. I just think the more important question is, where do you put these guys in terms of having them, in the best possible position in terms of Tompkins? He's a tweener. Like, I feel like we have a lot of tweeners right now. To me, they view him as an interior piece. But after watching him on tape, he's very inconsistent and not very comfortable when he's asked to go down there and bang as a 3 technique and take on double teams. That's not his forte. He is 290, though, so he's kind of too big to be a true bandit, because I don't think he has the true athleticism to be bandit like full time. So right now, I think it's kind of interesting, and I think I'm going to find it interesting to see where all these guys kind of fall in. I mean, Terrence Green, to me, there you go. You got a nose. We're good there. But like Tompkins, is he more of a bandit because he's kind of too big there? But he's not the most physical when it comes to actually playing inside. So you got a tweener there. Now, sub packages, he can slide in and rush from inside easy. We know that. But I'm talking on a down-to-down basis. Yanze Pierre, I mean, definitely a Wolf. Justin Hill, a Wolf. But I mean, with the lack of depth at Bandit, I wouldn't be surprised if you start seeing some movement. I mean, there was even talks about maybe even playing Yanze at Bandit at one point. Now, it's probably changed given that the roster has changed a little bit. But the South Carolina guy, it's a similar deal. To me, he falls in at Wolf. I've watched 5 of his games. Can he play Bandit when you're asked just to play a 5 technique? Yes, he can. Here's the problem, guys. Bandit, not only do you can't – I think one misconception that people have is that people just think, oh, well, all right, he's going to play this position, but just don't put him down in the 3 technique. Here's the issue with that, guys. You can't have a call sheet that goes, okay, we're not going to call this because we don't want this guy there. The call sheet is the call sheet. So I hope, this is one thing I want our listeners to really stick with, because I see this all the time from everybody else that make it seem like they just make it seem like, oh, he'll play this, but you just don't put him in a 4-eye. It don't work like that. You can't just pick and choose. You can't just say, oh, well, we don't want him in a 4-eye. If the call is the call, his ass is playing a 4-eye. You can't just say, oh, he's in the game, don't call this call. You can't do that. So you have to pick and choose kind of where these guys are really going to fit and say, all right, well, he does this well, but we got to be careful calling this. And that's where I'm wondering, maybe there could be a little bit of shift in kind of what we're doing defensively, especially up front, because right now, the bandit position, even Keon Keeley wasn't a great fit playing some of that 4-eye, but that's what the system required. So maybe we see a more of a true 4-down system and maybe a little bit less of those guys, just if the personnel is not there. I don't think that happens, but I'm just saying, if majority of your bandits aren't great fits to play 4-eye, that's kind of a liability and probably something you should think about. So really good question. I think spring will probably give us a better idea. Not probably, it will. If I had to guess, we'll probably see a number of guys play kind of different spots, kind of seeing where they finally settle in. But I guess just to put a bow on it, I don't think we have the personnel to play like a true 3-4 base defense right now. I feel like we've kind of gotten away from some of those outside backers. Just don't think we have the depth for it. So I just think, the 4-2-5 we're running, if you wanted to maybe have like a base 4-3, maybe. But the other thing is your strong suit is your secondary right now. So the 4-2-5 ain't terrible, especially if you can get a big physical guy that can play that nickel spot, which is, becoming a commodity, at least in some defenses. That way you don't have to do as much subbing. But really good question, per usual, from Adam. And again, if you need any law firm needs, if you need a lawyer, hopefully you don't necessarily need it for anything bad, but anything. You never know. You need lawyers for about everything nowadays. Check out Adam and his firm. I'll get you more details on that when I get a moment. But first, we got to hit a timeout. We come back. We're joined by the Pastor Payne. We're going to break down these defenders that we've acquired via the portal. Definitely talk about the young man from South Carolina. And we keep on rolling right here on the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230, WTBC.
This is local Allstate agent Stephen Fikes.
Can you hear us? Yeah. Oh, you're on mute. You're going to have to unmute it, but
I can hear you.
Yeah, let's
Tuscaloosa
go. Let's
Allstate
go.
agent.
All right, let's go. Appreciate that, Adam. Seriously, thank you so much. And I've responded to your email, by the way. So,
Not one away again.
dang. Just rejoin. You know what to do. Yeah, just rejoin. I mean, or here I can. That work? Still can't hear me? Excuse me. I'm sorry, guys. Just rejoin while you're rolling up. I'm kidding, guys. It's loose leaf tobacco or whatever it's called. What in the hell? Anyway, let me get to some of these chats while he finishes rolling up or whatever's going on there. But your dad was wrong about a lot of things concerning Alabama and this staff as well. He said South Carolina staff was better than Alabama staff. It's laughable. Well, he's entitled to his opinion, but I was talking about the offensive line. I never said he was completely right on everything. He's entitled to his opinion. Over there. But you're more than welcome to check my receipts. Because I didn't say that, and I can guarantee you my receipts add up. People are going to be right. Sometimes people are going to be wrong. No one's 100% right. Nah, 100%. Nah, you're right. Nobody's definitely going to be 100% right a bunch of time. But what I'm telling you guys is, though, you have a little bit more of a chance to kind of know what you're talking about when you, number one, played the game and have the experience of it. But number two, when you spend hours watching tape, not highlights, right? Because you guys have to understand there's a difference between, like, the way I do it is no different than the coaches and scouts do it, man. You watch the good, bad, ugly, you watch everything. Because that's the only way you're going to get a true measure of what a player really is. You can't figure that out. Everybody's highlight tape is going to have all their best plays. You can't judge somebody off of that. I want to know what a guy looks like on a consistent down-to-down basis. Not his best third down, not his best, setting the edge. And the reality is probably 90% of the people you probably hear a lot of info from, they're doing that. Most people don't even have the all 22 to be able to watch the tape. Can you hear me? And to that guy's point about him being wrong about it, and to be fair, half the other people that said the opposite were also wrong too. If you want to call a spade, all the people that predicted all these other things, like Alabama had number one offensive line, they were pretty damn wrong about that too. So, I mean, you can kind of pick and choose, but I'm not saying he's right about everything. I was talking specifically about the process of the offensive line. But everything a lot of the stuff he said a couple of years ago, you can ask the people in here there's a lot of people in here that used to not like him for the stuff he said, and then realize a lot of it is true. I'm just saying, I mean, a 10-year NFL veteran is probably going to know a little bit more about this game, especially on that level, than somebody who just kind of like writes about it. And that's no disrespect. I'm just being honest. But you're entitled to listen to whatever opinion you want to listen to. Like I said, you guys are always welcome to check my receipts. Please do. I actually encourage you to. You have to rejoin.
This is Miller.
Can you hear me? This damn dude. Rejoin. Lord help me. This guy is that's good. And welcome back into this Monday edition of the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC. Lord have mercy. I can't. Some people, man, I just give up on, man. I just have to learn. I have to do a better job of understanding. People just will not understand sometimes what you're trying to say, and that is totally fine. We got the passer paint on here. He's going to have to leave and rejoin. I'm going to try to do some sign language for him. You're going to have to leave and rejoin. Okay, you're going to have to leave and rejoin. He's not listening. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make him leave by myself. Wait, yeah, okay. I'm going to kick him out. Okay, so I kicked him out. That way I made him leave. All right. So anyway, all right. So let's keep on rolling. So while we wait for him to rejoin, because I basically had to make him leave because he wasn't figuring that out. Now he'll figure out that he has to rejoin. We'll get his thoughts in a second, but let's keep on rolling in terms of what we're talking about, and that's breaking down a lot of these latest portal additions. Here's the next one in line. We got an edge guy from the University of South Carolina who we will get my dad's thoughts on here in a minute. Now I'm going to Chase. Do you have the correct pronunciation of this guy's name? I know his first name is Desmond. I want to say Umazulu. Does that sound right to you, Chase?
That's what I've heard.
Okay.
That's what I've heard so far.
Okay. All right. Good deal. All right. So we're going to go with Umazulu. Now, I'm waiting on my dad to join again. I don't see him. We'll get him here in a minute. But in the meantime, let's look at this. All right. So this is what I got from Mr. Umazulu. And again, I watched 5 of his games from last season. So here we go. Very long defender, right? With I put ideal frame, really more than ideal frame when you're talking about an edge. I mean, this guy is 6'6", 250 pounds. One site had him at 255, another had him at 240. We went with 250. He's probably around that range. Pastor Payne, can you hear us?
Yep, I got you.
There we go. Perfect. Oh my Jesus Christ. Hold on. Give me 2 seconds because I don't want to. There, can you hear me still? Oh, hell, it did it again. Oh, my. One more time. Sorry, I got to kick you out. Do it one more time. I'm going to kick you out. Sorry. I hate to do it to you. Got to go. Just leave and come back. All right. So I watched about 5 of his games. I watched him. He started against Coastal Carolina. He played a lot against Oklahoma because Dylan Stewart had got hurt. I think that's when he went down with that hip pointer. And he played a lot. Listen, this guy, people make it seem like he just backed up Dylan Stewart. I mean, the guy played a number of snaps. I don't know the total number of snaps, but I mean, watching each game, I mean, he played a good amount. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you had Dylan Stewart and Brian Thomas, but I would compare it to like Justin Hill, right? Justin Hill was a freshman, but he played a lot of snaps, right? So he played a lot of snaps, and we got to watch those. And so this is what I took away from it. Very long guy, more than ideal frame. In my opinion, he can bulk up even more. I mean, if he's 250, 240 something, who knows? But he holds it really well. He's actually kind of a little on the narrow side. He's a little slim. You get what I'm saying? More of like a high cut kind of guy. Feels almost like he played like power forward or something. I think he can put more weight on, and definitely recommend, not necessarily the weight part, but I recommend him getting stronger. I'll get to that in a second. We talked about him being that veteran rotational edge. He's got in-game experience against SEC competition. Like I said, I mean, it's not like he was just sitting on the bench. I mean, he rotated in regularly with these guys, and in both situations, not just on third downs, but early downs, right? So I got to watch a lot of tape of him setting the edge. I watched a lot of his pass rush snaps. In terms of setting the edge, he has the ability. He's shown it, right? I mean, he can do it. However, he lacks like the true functional strength to really be a consistent physical force off the edge. Again, not saying he can't do it. He does it, but I genuinely think being stronger, adding strength, adding more bulk, maybe, you know what I mean? A little more muscle to him, getting a little bit more physical and utilizing his length. I mean, when you're blessed with 6'6" and like a however long his wingspan is, you got to learn to utilize that. And so I think coaching and development will kind of help him hopefully put all that together. Because I mean, he could be a player with the tools that he has. He's just got to put it all together. In terms of his pass rush ability, again, I know the clips that I made sure I put highlights because I know you guys love highlights. I put his highlights, but on a consistent down-to-down basis, he lacks a true first step. He doesn't have that true first step quickness. He doesn't explode he doesn't have that get off, that burst. Now, he has long legs and it helps him gain some ground, but that initial burst off the line of scrimmage isn't really there, at least consistently. You'll see it every now and then, like when he really turns it on, when he's like geared up, but it's not consistent. And what happens is it leads to him kind of limiting the stress that he's putting on offensive tackles. Like he doesn't really stress offensive tackles, vertically or with his speed off the edge, as he should, because that's the type of build and the potential that he has, in my opinion. But with that lack of burst, it doesn't really happen like that. So what happens is he ends up trying to work in the power, and he ends up getting stalled because he doesn't keep his feet moving. He doesn't really have great leverage. He doesn't have the strength. So a lot of times you're not seeing like a very consistent threat off the edge. I think there's still more that he can offer. I think you can get more out of him, but that's just from 5 games that I've watched. I mean, on a consistent basis, that's what I've seen. He can run. He's an athlete. Like, you see him use those long strides that allow him to chase plays down. But in terms of pass rush, one of the most important things is flying off the football, aggressively getting upfield and stretching that tackle. He's just more of like a smooth, long runner than like a true, like, boom, off the line. Like, for example, if you watch Dylan Stewart, who's also a tall, long defender, it's a very, there's a big difference between watching Dylan Stewart or hell, even Brian Thomas, who is a thicker physical edge. Watching those guys explode off the football, Desmond doesn't really do that right now. I'm not saying he can't get on the 1080 sprint machine and really work on an explosiveness, but I think he needs to. That's just not who he's shown to be on tape to this point. The last thing I will say in terms of just playing within this system, I think he could benefit from, learning a little bit more of like really reading his keys. Sometimes he has a bad habit of flying upfield on early downs, and it leads to opening up gaps. That's like a cardinal sin as an edge rusher. If there's nothing indicating that you should be flying upfield, you don't do that, because what happens is you just expand the C gap. And there's been a number of times that South Carolina got gashed on the run because he's flying upfield and it just opens up the sea. It's like opening up like the Red Sea. So it's a bad habit that he could get out of just by reading his keys. When that tackle blocks down, you transfer your eyes, you close any puller, any guard that's coming to you, and you sit and you cut, you squeeze, and you cut off that space. So overall, I got him as a long, rangy edge. He's got an ideal frame, SEC experience. He's flashed some ability in spurts, but the consistency and that continued development, I think that's going to determine his ceiling, like what you really get out of this guy. Meaning, is he going to be just another rotational guy that he can come in there, he can play some snaps, kind of play alongside maybe or play opposite of Yanze, kind of offer a little bit off the edge, but just kind of get about what you got out of him at the last 3 years at South Carolina, which I think he had like 1.5 sacks total? Or can he find a way to put things together, develop over the spring and the summer and the fall camp, and maybe really, have this new opportunity to put it all together his senior year, his final year of eligibility? Because I do feel like there's definitely some untapped potential there. But in my opinion, just by watching him, I feel like he's more of just a depth piece that you throw in that could play at Wolf. He's not going to play ahead of Yanze or Justin Hill. Bandit, like I told you guys earlier, he doesn't have the strength to really bang down in there as a 4-eye or a potential 3 technique, maybe in some of those packages where they get like an odd front, so to speak. So I would kind of be a little cautious about playing him at Bandit too much if you're going to have those, those fronts in there, because to me that's putting him out of position, and he's not going to be able to hold up like that unless he goes and puts on 20 pounds this offseason, which I don't really see that happening. But those are my thoughts on him. My dad's on here now. I think you can hear me. I think we're good to go. He knows him better than I do. But again, I'm going off of the 5 games that I watched. You agree with what I said? Do you have similar thoughts? Anything different? What do you think?
You're spot on. I can't really add too much to what you said. He is a project at this point. He's not going to go to Alabama with, the mindset if he's coming in to be a starter, to be a player that is ready to go right away. I think he is a depth guy that can give you some quality minutes that come off the bench, especially with all these teams that pass the ball all the time. He's a guy that can come in and he can play. Let me just say, the guy can play. He's not a bad player. I hear everything you said, but he can play. He's long, he's 6'6", he's rangy, he's got length. He's not, the question is this: how's Alabama going to use him? If you're talking about putting him in down the 4-eye and all this, no, you totally take away from his potential. He's got to be a wide 9. He's got to be a 5, on the open side where he gets some room to rush. He's not extremely fast, but he can close because of his length. He covers ground. But he is a guy, though, that underneath the right tutelage, coaching, scheme, he could be a nice player. He could be in the rotation. Think about it. In today's game, you need 8 defensive linemen.
True.
You know, the teams play fast, guys get tired, so you got to have rotational pieces, and he is really, really good in that. And he's done it at South Carolina. I saw him up close and personal. He can give you some quality. Now, stats, you look at the stats, go, oh, well, he really did nothing, 1.5 sacks. But I've seen him in games where he's gotten a lot of pressures, and he's made an impact in the backfield as it pertains to pass rush. So, but if you're thinking this just instantly make your team better, I don't think that's the guy you're looking for. I think he's the guy they said, you know what, we like him. He has potential. He can definitely fit into the rotation if we use him the right way, and he can be a nice piece. But as far as calling home the mother, so to speak, and raving about the dude, it's just like, you know, like, man, look who we got. You know what I mean? I don't know. I mean, I just don't. If I'm out, you're Alabama, I'm looking for guys that can instantaneously come into my program and play, meaning plug and play guys. And he's kind of that, but in a rotational spot. But I wish they find more guys that have receipts, guys that you can go and look at the tape and they flash and they play the whole game, and you see him like, this dude can really get after it. Excuse me, he can play some ball. I don't put him in that category. I put him as a rotational, building up depth, building up beef on your defensive line, has SEC experience, you know, so he has played in some meaningful games. I think he played against Alabama.
He did.
Yeah, I know he was, because I was on the sidelines. I'm pretty sure he did. So, you know, coaches seem to like him. I mean, when you see him up close, you're going to be like, man, he's 6'6". He's 250 pounds. I mean, he ain't 240. He's 250. Now, the thing would be, if you're Alabama with your strength program, can you put 20, 25 pounds on him and make him a bigger 4-3 type of an end? He has the frame to do that. But I don't know that's the way that they want to use him. That's going to be the $1 million question.
Yeah. No, and I agree 100% with the sentiment that he needs to be 5 technique or out. You know what I mean? Just like we talked about, like Will Anderson. Like, I think that would let him really flourish with his athleticism. That's why I'm saying it's a lot, not a lot, but there's just a number of the guys that we've acquired that it just makes me wonder how we're going to use these guys, because they feel like tweeners. And before people get upset, like this is all I'm saying. Like, I have people sit here on this stream, on this radio show. They respect our opinion. They ask all the time, or they complain all the time, saying we want to get back to how we looked, you know, years ago. We want to get back to playing that brand of football. And I'm just saying, the guys, a lot of the people that we're bringing in, I don't necessarily see that, you know, contributing to that direction. Like this guy, like, again, like you said, he can play. Don't get me wrong. I'm going to put up the tape because I can show you better than I can tell you, because I already know there's going to be people that try to say we're negative, whatever, and that's fine. But watch the tape and you can tell me, you know what I mean? Like, he's a good player. But if I had to stack him up against Quay Russaw is a much better football player than him. That's just me being honest. A little bit different in terms of stature and the way they're built and stuff like that. But losing Quay Russaw, then you pick up him, or even LT Overton to the draft. I'm just, you know, I just want people to understand that, like, real expectations. Because when we signed him, before I watched him, the way people were like, a lot of our fans were, so I thought this dude was like, I'm like, damn, this dude must be like at least like a Brian Thomas. He just hadn't played. But then when I watched tape, I'm like, okay. I mean, like, he's a good player, but I can see it. Like, I'll give you an example. Even like the Ross guy from Tennessee. The Ross guy from Tennessee would have been a better football player than Desmond, if I'm being honest with you. Like, this guy, like you said, he'll come in, he can play snaps, he'll contribute, but, like, I don't expect it like, oh, a lot of people made it seem like, oh, he only had a sack and a half through 3 years because of who he's playing behind. He had plenty of snaps and opportunities to have more production. That's not why the production was low. What I just explained was why the production was low, and you got to find a way to see if you can pull that out of him. So, no, I appreciate your input on him. Let's do this. Let's hit a timeout to stay on schedule. When we come back, we'll talk a little bit about Terrence Green from Oregon. I think actually is probably one of those guys that feels a little bit more like a true plug-and-play guy that can step in and play some snaps. We'll talk about that and more when we come back right here on the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230, WTBC.
The Tuscaloosa Thread News Update is brought to you by Tuscaloosa.
Haven't seen one fan say, Justin, man. Listen, I'm trying to be patient with you, brother, because I know you mean well, man. But listen, hear me out. I didn't say everybody said. I never said a bunch of fans are saying that. I'm making the comparison because a lot of fans, when we got the commit, the way people responded, and we're talking about like a lot of people that have platforms that are immediately saying huge get, right? Like those are strong words, like major pickup. So without me seeing his tape, it set my expectations a little high. I'm telling you, after what I watched, I'm giving the fans a comparison because you just lost a guy in Quay Russaw who was a good football player. And I'm just saying this technically feels like a replacement for that loss. I'm giving a comparison so fans have an expectation, brother. Like, listen, no one said we're 100% right. No one's saying, listen, bro, we're just trying to give y'all some good information, brother. Some well-informed information, brother. Like, yeah, you're going to have to say,
know why I lose my sound
for every single thing. Like, bro, like,
break.
If it don't apply to you, it don't apply to you.
I'm muted out, I think.
Oh, no, I can hear you.
Am I muted?
No, I can hear you.
Am I muted?
No.
I can't hear you. It always does that. I don't know why.
Who out there would you suggest that Bama gets? A lot of these elite players want too much money in today's game. Well, I just gave you a name. Like I said, Jordan Ross from Tennessee, in my opinion, would have been a better player. I don't know. This seems personal against Alabama media members. Fans are excited about any addition Alabama gets. No one said this would be LT Overton or Quay Russaw. I don't understand it. Brother, listen, with all due respect, man, this might not be the show for you, brother. There's no doom and gloom. These are facts. That's how this last time I'm responding to you, bro. There's no doom and gloom. It's just facts based off of tape. There's no personal anything. Are you a media member or something, man? Like, there ain't nothing against anybody. I'm just telling you, again, when I feel like there's people that like set expectations for guys, then the fans down the road get upset because they're wondering, oh, well, I thought this guy, that's all my goal is to help you guys avoid that. I don't care what media members or whoever, they can say whatever they want. I'm just saying, like, this is so dumb that I'm explaining this. Brother, I'm showing you guys, I'm breaking down tape and I'm showing you guys the tape and I'm explaining where I'm getting my thoughts from. There's no doom and gloom. That's what I'm saying. This is my thing. Like, you can't even be honest nowadays without people getting in their feelings, like acting like, oh man, this is doom. There's no doom and gloom. It's not about ignoring any additions, dude. Bro, I can't anymore. I can't anymore, bro. I can't. Like I said, man, this content probably is not for you, brother. Which is totally fine. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. I already knew this conversation would have the people like this guy from this crowd that all they want to hear is exactly what they want to hear. I knew people are going to be upset.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, like I said, I base stuff off of tape. There's no.
What does he want to hear to do that? 1.5 seconds, 3 years.
That's what I'm saying. Like, just people just talking crazy,
practice,
bro.
I'm at the game. I'm not on the side. I know what this particular game. He's not a bad player. He's a role player.
100%. But no, let's get mad at the people that actually spend time at practice and know coaches and actually break down tape because they're giving you guys an honest breakdown to somebody because it's not the pumping sunshine that you guys want to hear. Let's go get our panties in the wad. Get on, come on, man. We got time for these people, man. Like I said, bro, we bring straight facts on here, bro. If it hurts your feelings, it's not for you. Move on, find another one. And welcome back into this Monday edition of the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230 WTBC. Let's go to the phone lines. I need a break from this nonsense. 205-342-9904. Let's go to KJ, man. I haven't heard from KJ in a while. KJ, welcome in.
Happy New Year's, fellas.
What's up, dog? Where you been at, man?
Happy New Year's.
I was wondering about you, bro.
My God.
I thought you'd been
How y'all
iced.
doing, man?
I thought you might have been iced.
What? What?
Wow.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right.
How dare you say that on Charlie Kirk Day?
Okay.
How dare you say that on Charlie Kirk Day?
All right. Wait. Hold on. Wait. We're going sideways. Let's just celebrate Martin Luther King Day. Let's break down some tape and talk facts, and let's just keep on rolling. KJ, what you got, man?
Nothing, man. I'm chilling. Your dad is crazy, by the way. He knows crazy. I don't know why he started me up.
No, real talk. I just thought about you the other day, brother. You jumped in my spirit. You feel me?
You know what? I told Christian that I gotta pull up. He said you're in Greenville now. You know that's not that far. That's right on what is it? Right Horse Road. That exit. Yeah, I can
White Horse.
Up, one Sunday possibly. Yeah. Check you out.
Come check me out,
Lord knows you need the service.
I'm gonna do the juicy skit. You don't got no Rolls Royce, do you?
No, I don't have no Rolls Royce. I ain't got.
But no, man. Y'all was talking about the portal and things of that nature. I got a good friend. I know every time I call him, like always talking about what I know. But this is a good intel for me. Apparently, Bama was very, very competitive with the Cam Coleman thing, like almost to the point where
they were.
I think we made a mistake there of probably pushing our chips a little bit more into that aspect instead of like getting guys like spending that money on a guy like, I mean, Ross has potential to be a first round pick, the guy that went to LSU. Like we could have spent money there. We could have spent money on we could have tampered to get probably can't get a Dylan Stewart, but we can, tamper to see what can we do, like to get him to come out the portal, to do things of that nature. Other than spending that load of, because I've heard it was up there when we was Bama not broke. Is anyone that thinks that Bama's broke? Trust me, Bama is not broke. What we were spending trying to get Cam Coleman, man, we should have used that on a real solid edge player because I just see the defense. Like it seems like the defense. I mean, it's gonna be okay. I think we may take a step backwards this year from looking at the roster right now.
Well, don't say that because people are going to freak out and get mad at you and say you have a vengeance against media and fans for celebrating. Like it's the stupidest thing. Like, listen, bro, I'm just like literally just think with like a logical head. Like, you lose guys like James Smith and Quay Russo, and you bring in guys that just aren't necessarily the same level of players, and you're mad just because people are just saying that, like just saying like, hey, there's just a good chance that there's a good rotational guy, but he's not necessarily as good as the guy you just lost. Like, bro, I'm just trying to set you guys up just so off of facts and what I know. Like, I'm not saying the defense can't perform well or do well. I'm just saying there's a lot of holes and question marks that are going to have to be faced. And this is what drives me nuts is when people sit here and cry on this show about they want a better front seven. We need to tackle better. We need to be more physical. And then when you sit there and just break down tape and just say, well, this guy that we brought in isn't necessarily the fit that you're probably describing, then they get mad at you for saying that. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. It's the craziest crap.
This is what I got from Jalen Hurts, man. It's the mindset of like love everything that you did for Alabama, former team captain, right? Love the fact your dad went to the NFL, right? But at the end of the day, whatever you guys say, it's not going to have any bearing on that team whatsoever. Like fans are freaking out about the too early rankings. I think they had Alabama at 17, and they're going off on bruh. That means you don't mean any. People have a right to give their opinion of what they feel like it's going to be. That doesn't mean that it's going to be that scenario. They have a right to feel how they feel.
Yep.
It's not going to have any scenario. It's not going to have any impact on the actual season whatsoever. People have a right to say, hey, that's why I don't really get into predictions because at the end of the day, like, I don't. Like, when you talk about, like, give me the game, I never give predictions because I have no impact on what it's going to be. Like, I don't have to get out there and go tackle anybody or, catch no footballs. They do. So, it's all up to them. Like, and if I'm in the locker room, I won't be caring what nobody say anyways. Like, who cares what Damian Harris has to say? Who cares what, you know what I mean? Like, bro, at the end of the day, it's up to us, the people in the locker room, to prove ourselves right. Like, and that is what it is. Like, why be mad? Like, who cares?
I don't know. And like I
Well,
said,
it's just. I mean, I've been saying you got a group that's the fans, they're fanatical fans. They're gonna want everything positive. You got that group. Then you got a group that's realist, that's gonna look at it, both ways and just see what it is, like we do. There's no doom and gloom. It's just if you ask me about a player, and I'm just going off the facts of what I've seen in 3 years, right? And but I did say the dude can play. But dude, you need role players. And a role player could be good. A role player could be that guy that comes in and give you 6, 7, 8 sacks. I mean, he could be that guy. You know what I mean?
if he
I'm just
puts it
saying.
all together, he's got the tools to be a 6,
I mean, if
7
you
sack
look
guy
at the
for
tape,
sure.
man,
I'm not
if
denying
he's
that.
in a 5 technique or wider on the outside of open, no tight ends. I mean, he plays hard. He point of attack is good. You watch him, and he comes off the ball good. He's long in range. He could be a good player. And then sometimes getting in a different system and being used a different way, you can play a lot better football. And I think this could be the case for him.
Depending
Dude,
on where
remember
you
when
play
we were
him.
talking about? Remember back in the day we were talking about, and I was on the Saints because I'm from Florida, so I'm big on Florida talent, being on your roster, Texas talent being on your rosters. I'm not big on California talent at all. And you were talking about that, Corey. You was like, you getting too many Cali people, like you getting that Pac-12 soft stuff. And I was right there with you. I was like, absolutely. Look at it. And when you look at the roster, the best people on our team came from Cali.
That's facts.
Bravos.
That's facts.
Like it was like so. That's what I'm saying. Like our words really don't mean. No one's words really mean. It's up to those players to go do what they have to do. Like it is what it is. You can't get mad at no one's opinion. Everyone has the right to their own opinion.
Ty Simpson was a very good player. Ryan Williams was a good player. Horton was a good player. I mean, so yeah. I mean, if you're saying who had the most impact from the West Coast, I mean, I'm not a fish taco athlete guy. You know what I mean? I still think they're soft, but give me some dudes.
Because you old school. That was
he is old school, but let's just call a spade a spade. I mean, we need to be a more physical football team. I mean, that's just a fact. We got to be more physical.
Oh, that's been the case though. That's been the case. That just didn't happen this year though.
We never said that. We said it in 2023 when Coach Saban was here. That's the biggest misconception. That's what I'm saying. All these new people come on this show because they're just finding out about it. And we've been saying the same stuff we've been saying, but they always think, oh, well, they're picking on this new stuff. Like, no, dude. I try to explain to people the best way I can put it. This is no doom and gloom over here. When an NFL scout breaks down the potential number one pick, let me ask you this: when an NFL scout or front office personnel breaks down a number one overall pick, and he lists the negatives and talks about the things that they might not do well, is that doom and gloom, or is that him hating on them, or is that him just doing his job and being fair and honest with his assessment?
That's him doing his job and being fair and honest with his assessment.
My point. So that's literally what we do. That's what I do when I pull up tape, and so that's all we're saying. I'm just saying, like, to be fair, like it said, if people are saying, oh, Alabama, we want Alabama to look like this, I'm just telling you, when I watch tape, I can tell you who plays like that and who doesn't.
Let me ask y'all this. Did Alabama get
the most physical person from the portal is Nick Brooks by far. I think he's the most physical portal guy.
Who?
I actually like Nick Brooks, the tackle / guard from Texas.
Did you watch his all 22 tape?
Hey man, I'm not like
I'm asking.
I'd rather watch IG models all 22 than football players all 22. I'm asking. I'm genuinely asking, bro. I'm asking because listen, you said he was the most physical. I'm just saying. I watched his tape, and out of our portal edition.
Okay. Just hear me out. I watched his tape along with every other offensive lineman that I could get tape on. Now, to be honest with you, he's probably one of the biggest projects that we got out the portal. Physically, he is compelling. Physically, I mean, like, don't get me wrong, but for all the people that are saying all these acquisitions were based off of getting people that fit more the system, he doesn't fit. So that goes against that thing. That's why I'm saying that one confused me. And I'll be honest with you.
Physicality though, like. What about
it's spotty. You see it sometimes, and others it's not there. He's got to learn how to.
Who else is spotty? Who I don't like. I was telling Tia about this too. I don't like. Green is too darn big. I almost cussed to be on his knees as much as he is in the clip that I've seen. Terrence Green, the D tackle out of Oregon.
I actually like Terrence Green. Now, listen, I'm not saying he's developmental piece too a little bit.
Count how many times he slipped. Go back and count how many times he slipped and he's on his knee.
We can work on some technique, but listen, he's a long-bodied guy that can play on the inside and eat up blocks. I've seen him actually when he does play with good leverage. I mean, he can be a good player at the nose spot for sure.
You don't like the guy out of Mississippi State? What about the guy out of Mississippi State?
I think he's serviceable. But like I said, this is how I go off of it. You lose guys and you're replacing guys. Some left via the portal, some left via the transfer portal. This is how I view it. Terrence Green's filling in for who? Tim Keenan. Do I expect him to be at least the same level player?
That's not fair, though. That's not fair.
How is it not fair? Bro, I'm not comparing him saying like in terms of production.
We gotta go by the people that they're projected to replace. We weren't replacing Tim. The next guy wasn't replacing Tim. Like, you know what I mean? Like, who was the next guy after Tim Keenan?
Bro, you're losing Tim Keenan, so you have to replace him. That's what I'm saying. And so that's how I view it. So I view it as, can Terrence Green fill in? Can he offer us at least what we got out of Tim Keenan? Can he offer us more? Is there a chance that it's going to be less? I'm just saying he's a developmental guy. It's hard to say. I think if he puts it all together and he's coached up,
well, you see, y'all are like spin that straws. But what I'm saying is this: is there a guy in the portal? Is there a guy in the portal that Alabama got right that is a show enough? We used to call him a show enough, meaning. Oh no! This guy gonna step right in and gonna do his thing. I mean, like everybody wanted him.
No, because we were chasing.
He's Cam Coleman, right? He's Cam Coleman going.
That's why. Because we were chasing.
Guy that that you expect immediate results. Is there one player in the portal that Alabama got that you feel that confident about?
Are you asking me or KJ?
Both of you.
Go ahead, KJ. Go ahead, KJ.
No. Short answer, no. Absolutely not.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think the center, in terms of us needing the center with his experience,
I'm saying, but to step in and be that dude, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I'm saying. Alabama.
I can't say Alabama, there's a guy that we got that.
But here's my question. Why isn't Alabama getting that type of dude? This is Alabama. This is 18 national championship Alabama. This is how many SEC Alabama's won? This is Alabama. I'm not talking about Alabama A&M. I'm not talking about South Alabama. I'm not talking. Listen, I'm Alabama State. Who is stepping? Why can't they get dudes? Why aren't they paying money to beat some of these other teams? Why are you losing to Cam Coleman? Why won't you invest?
Wait, hold on. I can tell you why we lost Cam Coleman. We lost Cam Coleman because his agent, David, is a university grad from University of Texas. He was not going anywhere but Texas.
And there's another piece to this whole thing. And like I said, Alabama has money. When I made the point about not necessarily being like a Texas side of things, I mean, I don't think many people probably have Texas or Oregon just because, the backing that they have. But still, we have plenty of money. But without saying too much, there's also structures to this stuff, right? So you have to pay attention to structurally how it's working, right? Some people are able to go direct to the source. Others in other programs do theirs a little bit different, so it's not as much that way, and that also can sometimes put some constraints. So that's also something. I know we were competitive with Cam Coleman. I do know that, but I think it came to
the best players that they wanted, they lost.
Corey,
right? Am I correct?
Corey, can I ask you this? If you Cam Coleman, not even the agent standpoint, if you Cam Coleman, taking away from what your agent's saying, just looking at the facts of it, would you rather pay for Stark? Or would you rather pay for Grubb when you just saw your rival receiver, who everyone has been YouTube, Ryan Williams and Cam Coleman? You just saw him have a crazy, terrible year where he was sitting on the bench. Who would you rather go? Like, where would you?
I'm not going to Alabama because they don't have a quarterback that's proven. They got a big time stud and Ryan Williams that they don't use correctly. Absolutely, you don't think that's what Sark is telling him? You don't think that's what he's?
I think that's what really sold him. I think he probably wanted to stay closer to home, but I think having a proven quarterback
in his parents twisted too. I think his people wanted him to stay here too, but yeah, it's too many more pluses. They're giving you more money. They're giving you opportunities. You got a better, offensive coaching staff right now. On paper.
Texas has a better team. Texas has a better program right now than Alabama.
I was
talking about the roster.
Corey, you always go too far, Corey. You
give him an inch, he takes a mile,
That's a
KJ.
little
You give him an inch, he takes a mile, KJ.
Texas has a better program right now.
Are you saying the
last
roster?
time? Who won the last time they played?
Well, are you talking about roster or what? What are we talking about?
That was when Nick Saban was there. What are you talking about, man?
I'm saying program.
See, he's taking it a little too far now.
Well,
he's taking a little too far now. I can't go that far.
The program right now, Texas is a very good program. And you got to admit the last 3-4 years, they have had a better program.
He got infiltrated by the spirit of Digger.
Yeah, he went too far. I heard that call too, where Digger said they only spent $20 million. Like, what are you talking about? What?
Yeah, he was tripping on that.
$20 million? Like, bro, you're lying.
He was tripping on that. Now I can't say all that. Now I could say one could make an argument that they might have a better roster right now. I'd have to really stack it up, next to each other. But to be fair,
I'm right, KJ. I'm right.
We can argue maybe the roster.
Never a program roster, yeah.
Yeah, I think roster. If you stack it up, they might listen after who they just added. I mean, left tackle from Wake Forest. I mean, you talking about the guys that they returned on the offensive line. What are you shaking your head for?
Well, we coming off of CFP.
I was about to say. I mean, that argument already fails just by going. I mean. Yeah, we made it to the college football playoffs. He's just trying to stir the pot. Hey, we got to get off. Hey, KJ, we appreciate you, brother. We got to get off the radio real quick, but we're going to hang on the stream if you want to come hang out with us. Yes, sir, you too. All right, that'll do it for us on the radio side of things. We're not done yet. We're going to carry this over to the stream. And I got other few things I got to finish up talking about. We'll do that right here on the Miller's Edge on YouTube. Come hang out with us if you feel free. If not, we'll see you guys tomorrow on Talking Tuesday edition. We got Big Mike Johnson, former Alabama offensive line, joining us tomorrow at the top of the hour. We're going to talk about this offensive line, the newest pieces, get his thoughts on them as a former offensive lineman, and his thoughts on this past season and what might have been going wrong. We'll do that tomorrow right here on the Miller's Edge, Tide 100.9, 1230, WTBC. Appreciate you, Chase. Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm not going to argue with roster-wise. They probably a little bit better roster right now.
They definitely got a better roster. They definitely got.
We're just so young, man. We're just so young. But listen, what Jeremy said is, I mean, I agree with him. He said everybody Bama got from the portal is developmental. It's up to the staff to coach and develop. This is a put up or shut up year for the staff. I think it would be big. I mean, if we got to see them get the most out of these guys, because I get it. We recruit well, and I get what everybody's saying. I mean, the reason the portal isn't going to be active with big names, but this isn't a put up or shut up year for DeBoer. I'm not saying his job's on the line, but I do think it's a year that there's a lot of attention on what he's going to do. I think that's a fact. I mean, and I know from behind the scenes, I mean, there's attention on the program. I mean, listen, if you don't lose the way we lost several times this year, it's a different story. But when you do that, trust me, that makes people pay a little bit more attention. If you guys don't believe that, that's fine. But I'm just telling you what I know. I mean, you got to remember, there's people that got some power behind the scenes, and if you think they're cool
behind the stream too,
yeah. Well, but if you think they're okay with some of like the performance that we've seen, I'm just telling you right now, it's that ain't yeah. Like, I'm not like, trust me, I don't think his job's online. I'm not saying all that, but if you guys don't think it's a big year for this staff, I mean, like for example, like they have some more showings, like some of these big losses. If you don't think that's going to turn up the heat on these folks, man, yeah. I'm just telling you what I know. But according to the guy earlier, we don't know what we're talking about. But anyway, let me just, like I said, I show you better I can tell you, man. But I got to be careful with this. I can't play too much. But this is an example. So when I talk about, like, we got to coach this out of him. I don't know what South Carolina was coaching him, but he does this a lot. we have no business running upfield. So, like, as a junior player, like, I don't
They,
like
they play the
seeing-
run on, but their philosophy is different. They play the run on the way to the quarterback.
and that's why y'all's record is
Which
the way it is.
I don't agree with that, but you can see
Listen,
here.
if he's being coached, but sometimes he does actually close. So that's why I was confused, because I thought about that. Maybe he's being coached up to do this. I'm just saying, this is a cardinal sin from an edge position, meaning there's no, what's the down and distance? This is first.
But that's not a physicality thing.
No. I'm not saying that. I just was I'm so when people hear when I talk about better, reading it, he needs to be better reading his keys, being more disciplined, playing within like the integrity of the defense. This is what I'm talking about, just so people understand. I'm not just pulling stuff out of a hat or just saying stuff, or I'm not trying to hate. This is what the tape shows. So for anybody that can't understand that, this is what I'm talking about. Like just little stuff like this. And you can coach this. I'm not saying something in the world. I just treat the way I treat this.
Right now, he should be closing down.
He should be closed. There is 1st and 10. They are on their 2 or 3 yard line. Nothing tells him to run upfield right here. Nothing. So I'm just saying, me personally, coming from a system that was all about doing your job, being disciplined, reading your keys, I just don't like seeing stuff like this, because why? This is what it does. You block yourself. This guy is supposed to be coming and kicking you out. He can't even do it. You do it for him. And then what happens is you just open this up. Now, I do see the way the linebackers play. Maybe they want that guy getting upfield and let him replace or something. But look at these holes that open up. That's bad ball. I'm not saying it's all on him, but I'm just saying from a defensive standpoint, this is how you get gashed, folks. So if you guys want to clean up the run defense, that technique, which again, he's probably being coached to do that. So I'm not putting it all in. I'm just saying we don't want that here. We need to coach that out. That's a no-no. And that happened like 3 times in this game. I'll show you more. But as you can see, I mean, he's a long defender getting upfield. This is him down here. He's trying to set the edge. Like I said, I mean,
he gets back out there for me.
No, he gets back out there again. But you can and also look at his build on here. So when everybody was saying, again, this is not a disrespect to media members. What I'm saying is, if you guys want me to give you or hear honest things based off of tape, just pay attention where you're getting it from, because some people will just say, oh, they look at a height and they go and wait and they say, oh, he's going to play this. What I'm telling you is, look at his build. He's got more of a narrow build. He's not, this guy is not going to do well in this area, which the Bandit sometimes plays. And the only reason I'm bringing this up, because I had that one guy earlier trying to make dumb comments like, oh, it sounds like a doom and gloom and you're mad at media members. I'm just saying, no, this is what I mean. Like, he can set the edge, but he doesn't have that physical like Quay Russaw. When you have Quay Russaw on the edge, I mean, go watch him heavy-handed. I mean, he's jacking guys up. With this guy's skill set, he can set the edge, but it's not going to be a super physical edge sometimes, or most of the time. At times it can be, but and he needs to use his hands and his length, right? So number one, first and foremost, he's getting reached, right? He's getting reached right here. He's got to strike, and he's got to lock out and use that length, right? He's 6'6". I imagine his wingspan is long as hell. He needs to lock out and keep his outside arm free and play with the extension. So these are technique things that we can clean up. But see, we have to clean it up. If not, I'm just saying this is kind of what you're going to expect. So that leads me to the next point. When you guys talk about, oh, we're bad at stopping the run, it's these little tendencies that add up that lead to not setting the edge, to lead to big plays. So this is all I'm saying. And if people don't want to hear that, they get upset. I'm sorry, but I'll break it down like any coach or scout would do, man. And that's why a whole hell of a lot of people like this show. We'll skip this because he's getting cut. And he played a lot this game because Dylan Stewart got hurt, so he filled in. Not arguing, just asking production-wise. Jordan Ross. Listen, guys, don't ask me about production. I don't care about production. Well, you know what I'm saying? Like, I only look to the production after I'm done watching them. You know what I mean? So I'm not comparing anybody based off production. I don't do that. I'm going off of tape. But to answer your question, I know, again, you're cool, bro. I know what you mean. Why do I feel like Ross is a much better player? Because I watch tape. I'm telling you what my eyes see. I see the explosive ability out of Ross. Ross has a very similar frame. He's a long guy, but he's much more explosive. He bends the edge much better. Right? That's what I'm saying. I just wish you guys could like understand like how my brain processes and like sees this stuff because it would make more sense. Like I could give two shits about production half the time. That means nothing. But when you watch, I pulled up Ross's tape. You watched it with me. Watch how Ross moves. Watch how Ross can bend, the flexibility, the explosiveness. I mean, like they're totally different players. I'm not saying you can't get more out of this guy, but that's just not who he is. That would be like comparing Will Anderson to Chris Braswell. And then somebody getting mad because I say, oh, well, Chris Braswell is not exactly what Will Anderson is. Oh, but look at him. He looks good here. Why can't he? They're just different players. Don't mean the other guy's not good or it can't be a good player. It's just that's what they're different players. That's what I'm saying. I think like the more you guys listen to how I talk, again, this is no different than a coach who talks scout. Like, you'll learn this is not hating. This is not. It's just literally just breaking down taste. It's an analysis. That's literally all it is, man. Like just people got to get out their feelings. I get it. Like as fans, like you guys want everything to be perfect, but it's just not going to be that. Let's see. Like here he is off the edge right here. And so this is what I'm talking about. Like you see kind of this good leverage right here. He's trying to get to a long arm, but you see how he kind of stalls. He kind of lacks that strength and explosive ability to really
He was trying to work back, but it's a quick pass. So really,
no, it's quick pass. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about his technique. I'm just saying like you'll see it show up often. He doesn't have the most strength. Just like I wasn't the strongest when it came to that, unless once I learned how to really play with leverage, fly off the football, and really throw that long arm in there. A lot of the time when I used to try to go to power like this, I'm not saying but that's not who I was. I rushed completely different, but I did a lot of things better than guys that go to power. That's what I'm just saying. He's not so much a power guy, but he's also not the best with his speed. That's why I'm saying I think what you're expecting out of him is like he's definitely serviceable, a good player that can get in the rotation. But I'm just trying to I don't know. I don't even know why I'm over explaining, man. I like the physicality there. Like I said, once he learns how to play with his length, like I love the strike, right? I mean, point of like impact on with his strike right there is nice. But we got to get those feet set and we got to get some extension, but we can work with that. Now, I don't know if he's supposed to be working across right here. They're bringing the field pressure. So we got to work across that face. We got a cross face right here, which he gets to it. It's him dropping in coverage a little bit. Quick little, not crazy, but he can do what you need him to do. I mean, I don't think they use the Wolf too much in coverage like that. How often would I expect a good or a great edge win a one-on-one pass rep? I mean, like I said, guys, I don't have like stats or things or like percent. I leave that up to those people that do all the analytics and stuff. Like I said, I just go off of what I couldn't tell you what Ruben Bain's pass rush win percentage is. That's what I'm saying. I think a lot of time, like nowadays, with all these analytics and the services that offer them, like people overemphasize that stuff. I can only tell you what literally I see with my eyes on the field, which in my opinion is what matters. You know. But to answer your question, I mean, I don't know. I mean, hell, I never do this until allegedly I had the fifth highest pass rush efficiency in the country my senior year, and I would have never known that. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I damn sure didn't win every rep. I don't. I mean, like I said, I just want to see good technique. I mean, there's going, like he said, sometimes it's quick pass. Sometimes it might not be charted as them winning, but because it's quick pass, nothing's going to be charted or anything like that. It just got to go off of what I see. Gotta be careful peeking inside. That's what I mean. A lot of it's just little fundamental stuff.
See what I'm saying? Look at Thomas. Go back. I think that they talk when he gets up the field too.
Who? They're running
Thomas,
a run stunt. That's
no,
a D tackle.
Not that play. That was one before that.
And it might. That's why I said it might be. Their technique that they're taught. I don't agree with that. I don't. That's how you get gashed. Like, terrible philosophy. I hate when defenses do that, man, because they're expecting, it'll create some negative plays if they do happen to pull it. But it's like, is it worth getting a negative play once in every 40 plays to give up 5 yards of carry? I just personally, I don't think so. Sorry, guys. I got to skip around because, I mean, with the stream and all that, I can't just. Some good physicality on this one. That's a good job. And it looks like the same kind of deal. He's supposed to be working across here. So we got to keep working because this one is a cat. Other one there just bringing like a sting pressure from the field. But this one looks like they're bringing that corner. So we got to just work on these steps because, I mean, he's supposed to be in this B gap. So that ball ends up hitting where he's supposed to be. So, I mean, we just got to. And if you're going to get beat there, you got to put his ass in there. You got to press that back in there because, see, that's where he's supposed to be. He's supposed to be in this gap. The gap moves. It's a B gap that he's supposed to be in. So just little fundamental stuff will help him a long way.
Well, that's what I'm saying. He can play. Like, I'm telling you, he can play.
I'm not saying he can't. I
know that. I'm just saying he's not a dynamic, first guy out there that's going to just blister people. But he's a good role player that can come in and give you some quality reps, some quality snaps. So from that standpoint, I think it's a good pickup when you're looking. And he has potential if he gets
we need the depth regardless.
The right coach. They need the depth. I mean, he has played. He's been in good games. He's played against Alabama. So they've seen him. I mean, these coaches just don't bring in people. They've seen him, and somebody likes him over there. So, and I like him too. If I spent some time with him and help him, like I did with Thomas a couple of times, I mean, he just needs some things to help him play better. Can Jamie Mosley? You know how he's built? He's kind of built just like Jamie. But
really?
A little bigger. Yeah. Jamie's about 6'5" or 6, right?
Yeah, 6'5" easily, yeah.
Yeah, but he's kind of reminded that same kind of build.
Yeah, and that's why I said, again, if you go back and look at my original thing, like I said, like I think there's untapped potential. I think I'm just setting up, not even setting up, I don't even like wording like that. I'm just breaking it down from a perspective, like I said with KJ, like the way I view it as, we had the guys we had last year, and what did people complain about? Being too soft up front, not being physical enough, not giving up too much in the run. So people complain to me about that, but then when I just tell them respectfully, these guys that we've brought in aren't necessarily answers for that, so I don't expect there to be some huge upgrade in that department. Then people get mad. It's like you can't make people happy. So that's all I'm saying. Just like you said, like you're 100% right. This guy will give you good snaps. He's serviceable. I mean, he can play. But is he an upgrade to a physical edge guy like a Quay Russaw? No, he's not. So here we go. This is another thing. We're talking about running upfield, and look what happens. So again, it might not be him. It might be what he's being coached to do. But this is why I'm saying, like, whoever coaches this, I mean, that's bad coaching. Because watch what they run the immediate next play because they know this. So like I said, this is the C gap, right? Which if you close on this, tackle blocks down, you transfer your eyes. You should be boom. You should be closing and blowing this play up right here. And that back has to kick to who? The unblocked safety coming down. That's how this should be handled. But see, when you're coaching guys to do that, I mean, look what happens. I mean, the guy, you're just taking yourself out of the play.
I think this is more the system and then the player.
Yeah, no. Again, if it's a system, it's fine. I'm guessing the staff told him he would be in the rotation. Quay lost his spot. Guys, I know the deal with Quay. Quay did not leave because he quote unquote lost his spot or what. That's not why Quay left, man. I can't talk about too much. I'm just telling you that's not why he left. Listen, you need multiple edge guys. Quay would have played plenty. It had nothing to do with that. Quay got hurt. I'm telling you right now, Quay would have played just as much as Yonze going into the next season. He would have. They would have rotated. It's no different like when I played with Anthony, right? We only had one jack on the field at one time. I wouldn't have left just because I'm splitting reps. That's a normal thing. Everybody, like, there's not just one edge guy that plays the whole time. But then me and Anthony rotated series. He played a few more snaps in base just because, again, he was a thicker guy. It made a little more sense, but we rotated series. And then on third downs, we're both on the field. Guys, that's not why he left. That's not why he left. And it wasn't even really about money with that either. That's what I'm saying. Like, one day I'll be able to speak a lot more on stuff that I just don't speak on. I prefer not to. But yes, I think this guy does rotate in there. I think you see Yonze, Justin. That's another good example. I'm just like watch Justin Hill kind of play the run, and then you watch this guy play the run. It's just, I mean, the reality is like Justin and Yonze probably they're better fit to play the run right now. I think with right coaching, this guy could be a lot better too, though. What do they do? Same play, get back on the ball. What do they do? Same play. Why are they getting to it? Well, we're running upfield right here.
Right, because that's what they're taught to do. So I'm telling you.
I'm not talking about him right now. I'm talking about the philosophy I'm teaching our listeners about defense. This is why.
I'm just saying, when you're in that position, like, they're taught to be upfield, and that guy's supposed to up the field, and the other guy's supposed to field.
No, I get what you're saying.
That's an easy read, but they've done it like 6 times already.
But my thing is, if your philosophy is him upfield and he's filling, why is he hesitating? If you're going to be if you're doing that, this dude needs to get his ass in that C-gap right now. Like, what is he waiting for? And what my thing is, what do you expect what play you expect to make? Like if it's play action? I'm not saying him. I'm talking about coaching. I'll never understand why that makes no sense to me. Like, you're playing with 10 guys. I can't help it, brother. I come from Coach Saban. Like, if I did this, I would be out the game.
Go back. So he sees it with his eyes. Starting, I'm gonna show you something. Freeze. Look where he's looking. He ain't even looking. It's a down block, right? As an edge guy, outside back, it'd be somebody blocks down. The whole theory is someone's coming back to you. Here comes 18, the tight end off the ball. He's not even looking at him. He's looking straight at the quarterback, right? So he ain't even paying any attention to the action. So that tells me over and over they've done this, and this is where they're taught to play. So if he's up the field, it seems like to me that inside backer should be sliding and coming over. But he gets a bad read. Now he's late. Now here he comes, right? So he comes and kind of replaces, and then that
he overruns it,
right?
Listen, listen. If they're playing, I see
like how they're trying to play it, but
they're trying to force him to hand the ball off and let the backer scrape and be right here off this tackle's ass is where he should be to make this play right here.
Yeah, he makes it, but 3 yards.
We just know. I mean, again, I know if people play like that. It's more of a penetrating thing. I hate that. I ain't gonna lie, I hate that. It just gives up so much on the ground when you don't have to. It's not in there. Hold on, I'm trying to jump ahead when he gets back in there. His LSU tape was he played pretty well against LSU. I'll pull that one up here in a second too. This one he had a bunch of snaps, so it was easier to
I mean, if you go look at Dylan Stewart, he played the same. They do the same thing.
Not always. But see, this guy don't always do that either, though. There's sometimes maybe there's a communication that they have.
I think it's based on the strength.
I think there's probably some communication that they're probably doing with the.
See,
look, this time he closes and look and like
that's not him, but that's
no, not him. 12, but this time he closed. That's how it should be. We want to seal that C gap. Why? Because now there's nowhere to go. Then that guy has to bounce, and you have a free runner, free hitter. That's how it should look. That's why I get mad seeing that because I'm like, who's coaching that? This is bad coaching.
Well, the coach, the D-line, the edge guy at LSU at Lane Kiffin.
He's a good coach. I ain't gonna lie. Y'all had a good defensive line coach.
Right.
He did a damn good job.
Well, he coached all the edges.
But it might not be him. It might be the coordinator. Might be the coordinator. Hold on. We got to get him back in the game. Hold on. All right. Yep, he's at the top. See, this time we're going to close more, but I mean, I don't know if he's hurt or what. He's kind of ducking contact here. Now, there's other time he blows it up, so I'm not going to just say, "Oh, this." I don't know. He might just. I don't know. Maybe he's hurt right here or something. Because I remember I saw him kind of like limping off a few snaps ago. But better idea. He ends up getting on the tackle. He's a very long guy. Very long guy. You don't think Justin Hill would have eaten into Quay's time? You're saying all three of them would have seen significant action? No, Justin Hill would have pushed for some more time too, guys. But what I'm saying is there would have, like, even like when I was here, like we had like Ryan Anderson and Tim Williams, like I still got to play. And I still had 2.5 sacks, I think it was. And I probably played literally, I hardly played. It's about what you do with the reps. But to answer your question, they all three would have been playing, yes. I mean, hell, we saw all three of them get action when Quay did come back. But I'm just telling you, all I'm saying is this. That's not why Quay left. I know what went on with that whole deal with him and James and all that. I'm just telling you that's not why they left. But yes, I mean Justin Hill would have played some snaps, but that's not why he left. There we go. This is now I like this. I like that. Violent close. Blow them up. That's good. That's damn good. Oklahoma does so much quick pass. This one you don't see a bunch of pass rush reps, but I'll pull up when he played us. So this is all what I was talking about earlier. You can kind of see what I mean when I say like the speed's not really there to really stress these guys vertical. And what happens is he ends up kind of just getting into power and his feet kind of die on contact. So in my opinion, I think if I was coaching him up, I would have him learn to really work his long arm, really sell speed, use that athleticism that he does have, and really start developing that long arm technique. Because to me, he reminds like the build kind of like Terrell Lewis. And Terrell used to kill people with the long arm. Like that was Terrell's, go-to. We always said you have a fastball and you got your counter. My fastball was a stab club. Terrell's fastball was a long punch, right? He used to get in the long arm, punch across. I personally think he could really be a good long arm type guy with his length. You know, but you got to sell speed off of it, and then you got to learn how to play with leverage. You can't do it standing up. You have no power to you. That's what I'm saying. I think with good coaching, this dude could really be a lot better. But I don't really see a bunch of our guys even working stuff like that either, so I don't really know. Nah, it wasn't really NIL related like that, to be honest with you, no. I think he's tired right here. Let me go to the let me go to when we played us. Golly, man, I can't let people get my blood pressure up, man. I told myself I ain't even I'm I got to stop engaging with people like that. We just got to skip around because I mean Dylan Stewart played in this one, so he's not gonna have as many snaps.
Well, watch Dylan play, and you can see the difference.
Let them see Dylan.
Yeah. And watch the difference.
You know what's funny? What's his name did a really good job against him. I know this isn't showing anything, but even the little stuff, like when I talk about like little traits that I look for, like even just his ability to really just bend. I know he's not doing anything here, but you just see the flexibility. The other guy doesn't have that same level of flexibility. You can see the hip, knee, ankle flexibility out of a guy like Dylan Stewart, the explosiveness coming off the football. Those are just differences, right? So when you know what to look for, you those things stand out. To somebody that's not really paying attention to that stuff, they're just looking and see, oh, did he get to the quarterback or not? You're not going to see those little things.
Speed to power by Dylan right here. Bam.
And he's working across. Right?
It's a good rush.
That's a good route. You see how like his speed to power looks a little bit different than what we just saw coming out of the other guy. It's just, again, it's not knocking on the guy, it's just different. But Dylan sets it up a lot better too. I mean, because he threatens you with speed, his explosiveness and leverage. I can't speak, man. Fuck it. I mean, like, look at that, bro. I really need a Snickers after today, man. I'm like, these folks got my blood pressure high. I'm like, I'm trying to be a man of the people and just break stuff down. And then if they don't want to hear it, they get mad. Like, like, man, you make people not even want to do this shit, man. Or put in all the detail like that. Now, granted, we're trying to run like a pin and pull here, but I mean, and I'm just saying, like, that ability to redirect upfield like that, to dip that shoulder and redirect. I mean, that dude is a damn good football player. So
yeah,
like
he just don't play hard all the time, but he's got everything.
Like, for example, let me also hit this talking point. I can't see what's happening on the outside, but he's on a path, right? So when I just told you guys Zulu was supposed to be working on the path, you see how his path, when he's slanting, when he's crossing face, you see the difference between when he's crossing face and when you see what I'm saying? Like, it's just now this guy's going to be a first round draft pick, so it's kind of, I hate to be comparing him like that, but to my dad's point, I think this kind of just helps for some people that might not understand why it sounds like I'm being critical. I'm not being critical. I'm just there's differences in the levels. There's levels. Hey, but there you go. Wilkin for me, man. My guy did his thing. Smitty, I think you asked about what's it called? Payne Wilkin. To answer your question, A&M dropped the bag on Wilkin, but don't listen. We did not just let him walk. I mean, we were willing to pay Wilkin a lot more than you guys probably are even thinking. So that's why I'm saying, like, a couple of years down the road, maybe I'll circle back to all this stuff and I can kind of just fill you guys in on everything. But until then, we just got to keep it the way we roll. All right, let's look for what's his name. Is that him? All right, here we go. This is Zulu. Listen, but I get it. Wilkins struggled. I get it. It seems kind of, you're like, damn, but you got to understand, man. I mean, people want guys with starting experience. And yeah, Wilkin was very inconsistent. He whiffed a number of times. But to be fair, the tape we're watching right now, Wilkin locked up Dylan Stewart, who we're bragging about. He actually had a really good game this game. And he's got versatility. He started at guard. He started at tackle.
He's
People
a
will pay
guard.
for that.
He's not a tackle.
Right, but I'm just saying he has experience playing both.
He's terrible at tackle.
He did okay in this game. I'm just saying, like, he's not great at tackle, but he can play it if you need him to. Right? Watson Bones said Formby wanted to be a tackle, but our staff only saw value at guard.
I agree with that.
That's definitely part of it. I think A&M also paid him a lot of money to. Yeah, definitely very inconsistent. But what I'm telling you guys that sometimes you almost have to decide, like, there's a veteran that's a little inconsistent, but you know what you're getting out of him, or you're going to rely on a guy who hasn't played yet. You know what I mean? So sometimes people are willing to pay a lot more money for that guy with experience. They know he might not be great, but he's got a lot of quality reps, and they know they can rely on just putting him in there and he can play some snaps. Almost get in on a little sack, or I don't know if they gave him half. I don't think they gave him anything, but see, like, this is like part of Wilkins' problem. Like, he hesitated. I guess maybe he felt that them working on the movement, but like,
supposed to pass it off. Cross your face, you pass it off. He sees a twist. He's supposed to come out. He did it right, but this guy's right there.
I don't think he did, though.
No, he didn't get his guy, but he passed off. Now he's got to come see the looper right there, 33. He got my old college number. He's got to block him. Right.
But I don't think that's accurate, though, because they're in literally like 8-man protection. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And you have 2 guys blocking 1 guy. I think the way that it's blocked up, he's supposed to stay down. That's what I'm saying. That's why he hesitated. Because he initially probably was thinking that, but then you literally have 8-man protection. How do you get sacked with 8-man protection?
Because you're Alabama and offensive line.
Christian keeps spitting facts. These people that don't want to hear the truth can't comprehend football. Don't be mad at it. No, I appreciate that, bro. Like I said, I promise to God, I want nothing more than this university to literally. I want us to win a national championship every year. Like, and like, I don't want anybody trying to call me a hater or negative. It's not that. Mm-hmm. I want to be able to support everything.
It's people. You can't pay people like that. When you're in this business, you give your analysis. You keep moving. You don't care what.
No, you're right. I need to get better about that.
Making a comment to get you. Like, he whacked that comment has whacked you out for the last hour. You keep talking. Move on.
No. Because I was reading other comments. You're right, though. No, you're right.
No.
This is him against Formby right here. See, like, I think he can build off that long arm. He's in a tough spot here because in a tight 5 like that, that's what we're saying. Like, he needs some space to work with. Like, just like I was very bad at rushing from a tight 5. I didn't have the room to work with, to have the speed to build up. You know what I mean?
Not the skill set. That's what I was about Will Anderson that time. This is not a skill set. That's why you ask him to play out of position.
But that's why I hate
about these guys up fronts, because you take a guy like this and he has to play out of position a lot.
Well,
regardless, if he has to slide down and have to play a 5 on a closed side, if they ran a double team, they're going to knock him up into the stands because he can't. That's not who he is. Now, fortunately, they didn't do that. It's a passing play. And normally they might run this front when it's a pass an obvious down, but that to me right there is playing out of position.
Well, which is why I said, like, I feel like he's really more geared to play Wolf, because again, I'm not even gonna say that. Most people are just assuming he'll play bandit. Some people assume he plays bandit because of his size, but that's what I'm saying. If you watch him, he's not built like our bandit. I can show you on tape. You're asked to play a 4-eye. Sometimes, I mean, I don't think it's so much a 3, but it's a 4-eye damn near is a 3 technique. It's an inside shade on the tackle. You got to play into the guard a lot of times when you're working out a 4-eye. He's that's not what he's built to do. I know he has the frame, but that's not really his game. But like I think if you get him in space and he starts working with this, building off that long arm, I mean, and using that length, learning how to punch across once he gets at the level. I mean, he can be a damn good football player, I think. But I just hope they put him in good positions because I agree with you. Here's the game. We're working on a path. Got to stay inside. Can't do that now. He's getting moved here. Big Jaden Roberts is on his hip, but you got to fight inside because you got pressure on the outside. We can't do that. Can't get back outside because now you got 2 guys right here. That's not what we want.
No, I'm getting sleepy watching this.
There we go. I like the movement here. A little bit more of an athletic move right there. See, like that's what I'm saying. We can build off that. Like if he stacks more of these rushes, right? I know it's Wilkin, but trying to get to that long punch, like he's trying to work it, but see, we're standing up too tall. We got to just play with better leverage, and we got to sell speed upfield first. We don't really
I'll
sell
put it like
upfield.
this before I get off here. The dude got some good upside, and he's got enough twitchiness and length that somebody that is a good teacher can make him into a good football player in the right system. He could be that. But as it stands to be 4 years in the college, he should be further along than what he is.
Yeah, I agree with that assessment.
Now look at this move. Look at this move to the look at the right edge. That's what I'm talking about.
That's their backup too, isn't it?
Yeah. See that quick spin move? Look at that. Go back, please.
Hold on, what a cute.
Hit it with boom, boom, boom. Short. They got a short drop, short step drop. The man. Look at that. Look at this move right here. Set him up. Ooh, now that's what I'm talking about. That's how you rush. Oh, this push the power. Got him open. Beat. This guy you said is going to be a number 1. Getting ate up by the back.
Oh, you're talking about. Oh, I thought you were talking about
Proctor. About Proctor. This is his problem right here. You got it.
Well, his problem is he opens up way too much. You see him; he's kind of turning the gate. He needs to stick a little more square here. When he gives up the inside like that, that's a great counter by this dude. Damn good counter. That's a really good rush. Who's that? 30? Young guy?
Yep. Mm-hmm. He's back. I don't know. That might be the one with LSU transfer. Well, he can play.
Where's 9? Oh, he's not in here. It's Brian Thomas going to the draft, huh?
Yeah, he's big.
Yeah. Y'all get the point. I'm tired of talking about this.
All right, I'm gonna jump off here.
All right. Sounds good, man. I appreciate you joining. I need a break from all this, man. It's people that been watching a million hours of film, it seems like, man. Same problems Neil had. Yeah, I think both guys, I mean, even Neil, I mean, they're just probably more suited to play guard. Proctor probably make a damn good guard, though, honestly. As big as he is, physical. Yeah, I don't know. I was tempted to pull up that Neil guy. I'll save him for tomorrow. Wait, what happened? Wait, Nick Saban keeps receipts. What happened? Wait, can we Can we watch a ESPN Pat McAfee clip? Is that allowed? Do you guys know? Can you do that?
These guys for Indiana, maybe in a crucial moment, like we see.
Let's skip ahead so we don't.
Big Ten.
About the stars. You know, I got a little theory about the first part of what you said about the stars. We never ever looked, and I know Sick doesn't either, at how many stars the guys have. Because I think what you all need to do is look at who's giving out the stars.
No.
Yeah, y'all gonna say he's got a problem with media members too, or y'all is that guy that's gonna say it's me?
Yep.
Yeah, they're gonna say that. Now he literally just said who's giving out the stars, basically saying that these guys respectfully don't watch the tape like coaches, staff, player, whatever. These guys don't have the credibility or experience. So just be mindful of what information you're getting. But is it only me that's hating on media, or is it him too? Not to mention the same media people that retweet all the shit that I'd spend time and effort posting, whatever, but don't want to follow my page. Why is that? My point. So y'all pointing the finger at the wrong person. That's weird to me. You retweet all the stuff I post so you can get an idea on what to talk about, but you don't want to follow our page. Come on, man.
Yeah. They don't know their ass from a hand from the sand when it comes to what a football player is. So why would you as a coach depend on somebody who's not even a coach evaluating players to give them stars?
Boy, I'm so glad somebody tagged me in this clip. I'm so glad. I can't wait to play this tomorrow. Thank you, Coach Saban. Now, I don't know what he's about to say to body Damian Harris. I don't know what's coming up on that, but and I'm not saying you can't do it without. Let me be clear. I'm not saying you have to. Example, our guy Clint. Clint does a damn good job breaking stuff down. Now, I can't say I agree with everything he says, which is fine. I don't think everybody agrees. But I got to give Clint his flowers. That dude works his ass off. You know what I'm saying? I'm not referring to somebody like Clint, but I'm saying like he's saying the people that are giving these quote unquote breakdowns and star rankings and transfer portal rankings and this guy's that like, I'm just saying, guys, I can't get behind that, man. Like, because I just know people aren't doing it, and if they are, a lot of time they don't know what to look for.
You know, I say all the time, Josh Jacobs had no stars. Damian Harris was a 5-star. They were both really good players, don't get me wrong, but Josh Jacobs was a first-round draft pick and Damian Harris was a third-round. Josh Jacobs still playing, Damian Harris is not. So
I don't think that was bodying Damian. I think he was just using that for an example. You know what I mean? Like that didn't come off as bodying Damian at all. I think people get this misconstrued. Like people think that every guy's going to play 10 years and that doesn't happen. People think, oh, if you weren't a first-round pick, that means you – in this situation, he's not even saying it like that. He's giving the comparison, meaning if you went off of stars, that would mean that pretty much everybody that was a 5-star should automatically get drafted higher, play longer, have better career record stats, all that stuff than the 3-star. He's just saying the example of why that shit means nothing is because, again, he found Josh Jacobs, and I don't know him or whoever was in the recruiting department. We signed Josh Jacobs it was a late addition. It was like before his signing day, or like a couple weeks before that. And to his point, I know everybody for whatever reason always compares those two, but Josh Jacobs was a better running back than not just, let's just say, Damian in this situation. And like he said, Damian was a damn good player. Like people can try to hate on Damian for his comments in the media. You can't take it away from him, regardless if he's playing or not. He had injuries. He had a neck injury. Damian was a damn good football player. But I'm not going to disagree if I would say is Josh Jacobs a better player. No, there's no disagree. Just like somebody could say Will Anderson's a better football player than me. I would sit there and nod my head, of course. Hell yeah. That didn't mean I'm not a good player. So all he's just saying was the stars don't always line up. And he's right. He's 100% right. The evaluation is what's most important. And who is doing the evaluation, not people on a service versus a staff of qualified professionals that literally, you know what I mean, are paid to actually do that.
When you evaluate the players on your own in terms of the criteria of what you're looking for at each position that fit in your system and the criteria of the kind of people you want to make the culture of your team what it is, which I think SIG has done a fantastic job of, because it's culture over system. I mean, if you don't have a good culture, you're never going to execute the system, no matter how good it is. So that's what they've done such a great job of at Indiana, in my opinion. So I'm just not a big fan of the stars. I never knew how many stars a guy had
They
until
had
signing
5.
day.
They went to your
Until
place?
signing.
Most of them. They had 5. And if they didn't have 5, as soon as you offered them, it was funny how those changed. We got actually a new piece of tape on this guy. Hungry. It does feel like Indiana. You got to keep around.
That sounds about it. That was a good clip. I don't know who. Oh, Lynn, I appreciate that, man. Thank you. Yeah, I've been, man, these people had me on, not these people, I had a couple people in here, had me on my damn, man, but appreciate that. Yeah, I don't even know I'm keeping track of the likes. I don't even know where we're at. We're at 99. We need one more to get 100. I appreciate that. Same thing with Tua and Jalen, who has a better career. That's always a tough one. I mean, right now, you'd probably have to give it to Jalen 100%. I mean, he's Super Bowl champion, Super Bowl MVP. I don't remember where those guys are. Jalen was a 4-star. Was Tua a 5-star? I'm assuming he probably was. I don't even remember. Yeah, he definitely did have more 5 stars. Like he said, I don't think he really paid attention to that. Like, I'm telling you, I'll give you an example. Appreciate that, Landon. I'll give you an example. I know for a fact he had people on his board that were 5 stars that he didn't even recruit. Like, I know this, like, after when I was playing, like, not from when I was playing, after I was playing, like, there would be guys that were 5-star guys. He wouldn't even recruit them. If he didn't feel like they were a good fit, if he didn't, his evaluation didn't line up, he didn't recruit him. He didn't care about, oh, it's just a 5-star. That's never been who he is. Yeah, they both did get paid. And they both are doing great stuff, man. I hate that it always seems like everybody judges like, oh, if someone's a good player or not by whether they play $1 million, make $1 million, millions of dollars, play with. At the end of the day, man, everybody's always good players in their own right. Some people have great college careers, doesn't necessarily transition, and it doesn't even. It is what it is. At the end of the day, it's just a sport that we played. You know what I mean? Scheme and fit, not the stars. Yeah, he was always big on fit, and really just what he's always a really good evaluator. Now, one could argue, his last few years, I'm not gonna lie to you, I feel like our evaluations weren't as good as they once were. I feel like we whiffed on some guys in recruiting, if I'm just being honest. Jalen's a product of the Eagle system. I'll be looking to replace him after the playoff results. I mean, I definitely think Jalen does well, like with the system that he's in. I mean, I understand the argument when people talk about the system kind of maybe helping him out a little bit, but I mean, regardless, he's still a good quarterback. I just think he does benefit from being in a good system like that. But at the end of the day, isn't that what the coach's job is? The coach's job is to put your guys in the best position and to build a system that they can flourish in. So it's not his fault. You know what I mean? Like, it's not his fault. There's no knock on him at all. At the end of the day, he's still a Super Bowl champion and Super Bowl MVP, whether if he's considered a game changer or game manager. And I think Tua's thing is, man, I mean, obviously the durability piece, but Tua's got a lot of talent too, but Tua could be a little streaky. But I think it just goes to show you guys, man, like playing in the NFL is hard, man. I mean, it is tough and it requires so much. It requires much more than just being a good player. I mean, you need the system, you need the coaching, you need the weapons around you. I mean, you need like there's so many things that have to be done right. Yeah, injuries with Tua are a big thing, but then also sometimes being a little streaky, which is, I mean, it's part of it. But at the end of the day, man, I mean, like I said, man, they all are still really good players, all in their own right. Whether it's Damian, whether it's Josh, whether it's Jalen, whether it's Tua. Um, I got a lot of respect for all those guys, man. The Stars guys have most of them play for the Stars. Costs most to be in all the services. If you can afford to go to the camps, you get Stars. Doesn't really mean anything. I don't know, Lynn, because I'll be honest with you, man. I mean, I didn't pay a dime for anything. Now I can't necessarily speak on. I'm sure nowadays there might be some influence. I mean, there wasn't NIL back then, but like, I'll be honest, I didn't pay for a damn star or anything. I really could care less. I could not care less about this stuff back in the day. My recruitment was after my sophomore season, I started getting recruited by a number of schools, and I remember one of my coaches was very, very good about sending our film out to coaches and signing us up for those camps. So you're right about going to camps is definitely a good way to get more exposure, but there was no pain or anything. It was just he signed us up for like the Nike Spark Combine. I know going to, like, if you have some attention from schools going and camping there, like for us, like camping is really big. So they always try to get our guys on campus to come, work out at camp because you want to see these guys in person, just like London Simmons. They had London Simmons. They got him on campus to a camp, and they got to see him in person. That's when they knew, like, yeah, man, this dude's a good football player, and they offered him. So for me, I just went to those Nike Spark Combines or whatever. Well, I went to the one in Charlotte. They invited me I will say that if you were being recruited, you had a much better. If a kid just tested really well, but he had like no college offers or attention, like he might get invited to the training camp. But most of the time, they knew they were going to invite like the kids that are being recruited, but it wasn't like money or anything. They just know they like prospects. They want to see prospects kind of compete against other prospects. So then I got invited to that as an underclassman, and I did well. Then followed it up by the next year I went back and I ended up winning like the linebacker MVP. And who else? There's guys like Peter Columbi. He played at Stanford, played for the Texans. Raekwon McMillan played linebacker with the Patriots. He played at Ohio State. He was there. Yeah, no, I mean, shoot. Injuries, man, they play a toll. And just the transition. I mean, like, I don't think people understand like that, like in terms of the NFL. I mean, you got dudes that played small schools that end up being great pro players and guys that played well in college, but whether it's injuries, whether it's just things happen. It's a different beast, man. There's only so many spots, man. It's a 53-man roster. Practice squad's a little bit bigger nowadays, but then you got to think every year there's new guys coming in the league. Just a lot. It's definitely a lot. And if you're not fully in it, mentally, man, it ain't even worth it. That's why, like, when I finished up and I was kind of just ready to be done. I mean, it had so much going on with my mom's stuff and injuries. I was beat up, banged up. I never even felt healthy. Even when I got to the NFL, I never even felt healthy. I still, to this day, my hamstring's still like, I still don't feel like it's fully right. Rankings aren't everything, but they are a good indicator. Coaches don't care about the stats, but there's the reasons that the higher rated guys have legit offers. It's a little bit of, I mean, listen, I'm not going to say that they're complete. Listen, to be fair, I mean, if you ran the statistics, like, yes, former 5-star players, I think on average do have a better chance of being being drafted higher. Like, statistically, that is true. So, I mean, I wouldn't say there's like no truth to it, but like my dad said last week, there's going to be some guys, like, if you just look at him, like he's a he's a much better football player than most of these other guys. Like, for example, like watching Reuben Foster coming out of high school, watching Cam Robinson, like, as an offensive tackle with his ability, with his size, right? Having that rare combination of size, athleticism, the ability to move, change direction, right? Having that, that strength to hold up as well. I mean, like, yeah, no, it definitely is, Ray. That's a part of it, man. I just got to get. Listen. I got to get used to it because I'll be honest. Like I said, when I do this, guys, when I tell you, I legit just do this from a place of I don't care about clicks. You guys know me. I don't even hardly post like extra like content like that at the top. Like I don't do this for clicks. I don't do this for attention. I literally the only reason I do this is because we built this platform up a couple years ago, and I've really taken pride in it. It's very meaningful. I mean, even on like a personal level, it's very meaningful to me for a number of reasons. I'll explain, another time. But two, man, I legit just like using my experience and my insight with everything that I've learned from playing for over 20 years since I was 4 years old, being in Coach Saban's system 5 years, having the experience to play a few years in the league, and having a dad that played 9 years in the league. I mean, I literally grew up around Michael Strahan, Jason Sehorn. I mean, like I've been around this game forever, and I just enjoy using the platform to really educate people on really how this game is played and like like just the facts about it. Whether that's breaking tape down or giving honest analysis or whatever. So anyway, the point is I just got to get used to like the trolls or the people that get mad when you're just trying to, because like I said, it'd be just one thing if I'm coming out here trying to, stir the pot or do a hot take because I'm trying to get clicks, or I promise you guys, I don't do it for that. I really do it for you guys so I can just sit here and just speak on the game of football and spread truth about it. So when I have people that like act like that, it just bothers me because I'm like, man, like I'm not even on that, bro. I'm not. I'm doing this for you guys. So you guys have a true, honest, in-depth look at this roster. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying I'm 100% right on everything. Nobody is. The coaches aren't either. But I take pride in, like, literally the extensive stuff that I mean, like, watching hours of tape. Hell, I mean, I go to the practices. Like, that's what I'm saying. There's a lot of stuff I just don't talk about. I know. Like, so it just bothers me when I have people that bring negativity like that. And all I'm doing is trying to help, man. That's all I'm saying. I promise. That's all I care about is helping. I don't care about clicks, attention, none of that, man. One reason we ask you to hit the like button stuff that helps push the algorithm. So that's all. It ain't criticizing other people. Everybody's entailed to do things that way you want to do. I just want to make sure I'm putting emphasis on what we do on this platform. Yeah, it's about entertaining, but at the end of the day, man, it's about facts and just honest expert analysis. I'm gonna be fair, but I'm gonna be honest. Yeah, appreciate you guys. Way off sides, man. Thank you. Challenge the chat to hit the like button. Appreciate that, Lynn. Appreciate that. But anyway, enough of all that sentimental stuff. Enough of all that. Tomorrow, I'll make sure we'll take a look at Terrence Green because I know we missed him today. We were going through everybody else. I'll even pull up. I know we didn't. Time is it? 2. We got 1:35 in here. I mean, I could show y'all real quick the young man from Texas. Just again, so I mean, people understand like where I'm coming from with it. This is him at left guard, 71, by the way. This is Nick Brooks. Oh, wait, excuse me. Hold on. Oh, sorry. Right here. I had the wrong guy circled. Like I said, man, I mean, he's a big cat. He's Stonewall 97, boy. 97 better buckle up next time. And 97 is a big dude, too. That's that dude from Oklahoma. I want to say he's like 6'5", maybe like 260. So left guard right here. Nice job on I forgot this dude's name. That's a damn good player right there. They're working this combo block with him in the center. Nice job by the center right there, climbing up. Nice job by him holding at the point of attack. First two clips, I mean, definitely some good clips, but you'll see when we kind of get through here. Some of like the raw stuff I was talking about. So I was talking about some of that, the movement up front can kind of mess with him a little bit. He doesn't do well with his change of direction at times in terms of like the stunt and movement, and even like picking up. Like this one's more of a him just from like a execution standpoint, he gets beat inside. But if you see like it was like Mississippi State, I think it was, but like in terms of like slants and stunts, sometimes that don't end it on a depressing note. Ain't no, there's nothing depressing. Like I said, I appreciate that. Like, listen, it is always just like one or two people. All the real ones, y'all already know how it is, man. Like it's all love over here. But now I'll show y'all this guy real quick. Now I appreciate you guys still pushing that like button too, man. Y'all are that's what's up, man. Y'all are real ones. I appreciate that. You like what the staff is doing right now, i.e. transfer portal. Y'all come hang out live post game at way offsides. You talking about the national championship game post game? I might be asleep, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you, man. I definitely appreciate the invite though. If I'm up, I might pop in there for a second, but I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. I might be in bed, man. Listen, I'll say this. If he can build off of some of these things like that he shows, like he flashes, don't get me wrong. I think this dude definitely can be a good player. He doesn't quite fit what people are saying is like the new direction they want to go. He kind of feels more like kind of the old group, just with his size and just kind of his ability. But I mean, he's definitely got a good piece. But to answer the question about how I feel about what we're doing right now, this is what I would say. I would probably give us like a B- with what we've done. I think we've addressed a lot of areas that we need to address without a doubt. But if I'm just being completely honest with you, and here's my biggest thing. I understand how the portal works and the fact that there's not a million really good quality players in the portal, right? So I want to be clear because I know sometimes people are like, oh, well, who, like that guy earlier said, oh, well, who do you expect them to get? Well, there might not be a million, sure starters or super good talent, but that's why, in my opinion, it's imperative when you have guys like a James Smith or a Quay Russaw, who I know it wasn't a money deal with those guys. It's important to try to retain key pieces like that. And then I don't like when it sounds like it's like, oh, well, like when HaHa was talking about, again, I love HaHa, but when we're like saying, oh, well, the production don't line up. And I just know for a fact that the way HaHa was tweeting is the way that some people, not everybody, but some people in that building, that's how they think. I don't agree with that. If I'm being completely honest with you, I don't agree with that. That's what I'm saying, guys. Listen, I know way more than I lead off, but out of respect, I just don't talk about it. But I'm just telling you, to answer your question, I don't hate what they're doing. I just feel like it's a little risky, in my opinion, going into year 3. I know a lot of people don't necessarily think it's like a make or break year. I wouldn't necessarily call it a make or break year, but I do know it's a very important year. And I know I've learned a lot about Alabama fans since I've been doing radio And one thing I've learned is, in these months, everything sounds great. Everything sounds okay. But then when it actually comes down to the nitty-gritty, they start, it's like the scales are removed from their eyes, and they actually kind of see what some people that are a little bit more kind of just honest might have talked about or have been seeing before. So what I'm getting at is, my philosophy is, if you're going to retain high school talent, which I love the idea of recruit well, develop, and all that stuff. The problem is, number one, that's already risky because you can't guarantee you're going to retain all these guys. I don't know the amount of retention in terms of the guys they recruited. I don't think too many of their guys left. Maybe DeBose. I feel like majority of the guys that transferred were also Coach Saban guys. So that to me just feels like they kind of want to hit the reset button and get their guys in. This is a long-winded way of just saying, I'm under the belief that the transfer portal is used to get guys to fill holes and deficiencies. We utilize the portal more so to get guys to just kind of just almost like just fill spots more so than it felt like really getting guys that we felt could come in and we could bank on them making this football team better, if I'm just being honest. And that's why I would say probably a B-. I just feel like, to me, like with such a young team, you really would have benefited from getting some true, proven, experienced guys. And I know there wasn't a whole bunch of those guys in there, but still, I just feel like there were some. And then on top of that, I just feel like we let a few too many guys walk. Like, we were a little bit too cool with letting some of these guys walk, and I think they probably felt a little bit more confident in, oh, we can let him walk. We can get somebody that can do what he was doing. And time will tell if that philosophy is true. But just from what I've seen on tape with some of these guys, I can't sit here and say that I won't use the draft guys in this equation, but losing a Quay Russaw, James Smith, I mean, even the depth pieces like Renaud and Keeley. Who else? We'll just start with those guys. I can't sit here and say the guys that we brought in were like better players than those guys. I can't. And my philosophy is, if you're going to lose somebody, you better bring in somebody who at least you feel like can make just as much of an impact, at least. And I feel like, for example, like the guy from South Carolina. I mean, if I had to pick or choose, Quay Russaw is a better player. I don't think. I mean, James Smith, right? Like, I don't think the guy from USC is a better player than James Smith. I don't think the Terrence Green guy is better than James Smith. So that's kind of how I view it. But again, it's just my opinion, and I mean, the time will tell. I mean, I could be ass backwards, and the guys that equivalent at the least. I mean, that's what you would expect to bring in. I just feel like it was almost more like, it felt like the guys we brought in were probably equivalent at best, if I'm being honest. Like, we lost 3 linebackers, very important position. We only brought in 1 guy that's a converted safety coming from Virginia Tech. So, I mean, I feel like we didn't really address that the way it probably should be. To me, the other big thing too is, I know I'm rambling, but it's the last one, is like, we talked about the offensive line being like so important. Like, the game is one of the trenches. That's been our biggest, Achilles heel, and we can just fix the trenches. This football team has a chance to be great. And then it's like we go out and bring in like all developmental pieces. And I know that those other guys would have been expensive, but I'm like, if we were going to put up big money for a guy like Cam Coleman, why wouldn't we have tried to put that for like a true proven left tackle? You see what I'm saying? Like, so I can't say that I agree with everything they've done, but again, I mean, I'm just a talking head on the radio at this point. It doesn't matter what I think. But I'm not going to say it's the worst stuff either. I think some of the pieces can actually end up working out well. I just know if you're talking about the way I view it is if you're saying like you guys want Alabama to be, hey, we want Alabama to be able to make a championship run and do all those things. I just don't know if the pieces that the moves that we made were enough to give me confidence in that. Yeah, no, I got what you're saying, Ebony. No, I understood exactly what you're saying. You were saying if whoever you bring in at the least needs to be, yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think Brooks will be a solid guard. I just think he's just a little bit more developmental. He's just raw, Like I think he definitely can be good. I just think he's a little bit more on the raw side, which is expected. I mean, he's a true freshman. Like, don't get me like. Here's the thing: if we had like a proven guy that like you could kind of fall back on, like say Wilkin didn't leave and you were thinking you could play Wilkin at guard, and then you bring in this guy to push Wilkin and potentially overtake his spot, but you still got Wilkin to kind of fall back on. Totally different story we're talking about here. Totally different story. My thing is you're replacing 4 guys on that offensive line, including left tackle and center. So I'm just saying, like, and with those circumstances, I kind of was thinking, I mean, we would probably be under I don't know, be in a situation of like really needing to get guys that are like proven. But nah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, like Brooks, I mean, I like the strength and physicality that he plays with. It just has to be a little bit more consistent. Because if you watch 3-4 games like I've watched, you'll see like there's gonna be some points where it starts kind of dipping, or you're kind of like, all right, yeah, we got to clean that up. But that's part of as a true freshman, that's expected. That's definitely expected. Production to me means development. We have not had that. All the linemen we had were big and had talent. So let's watch who left this coming year will tell us a lot. No, that's true. And that's my whole point when I was talking about like I don't have the most confidence that the offensive line play is going to be that much better. Could it be better? Yeah, I think it could be, right? If we develop these guys, I think it could be for sure. I'm just saying like logically speaking, last year we had talent and experience and it didn't work out well. And I don't think those guys are just that bad of a fit. I mean, they might not have been ideal, but I don't think some of these guys, again, to me, Nick Brooks fits the bill of a lot of the guys we just got rid of. So, like I said, but what do I know, man? I do like the Nick Brooks edition because you got Will Sanders at guard, and I like him, but you got the other guard spot. Plus, I mean, I think what could happen though on the bright side is I think you could have a bunch of guys just competing, and it could really raise the level of play in that room because everybody's going to be hungry. Everybody's going to be fighting for a spot versus, oh man, Proctor's there. Oh man, Brailsford's there. Well, maybe I could get into this spot. Now it's kind of like, shit, it's open competition. So hopefully that drives these guys to really elevate each other. Because that's one thing competition will do. Just like I think it's going to elevate our quarterbacks. I know there are some concerns about a first-year starting quarterback, but typically the way it works is when there's competition, it makes everybody better. Because you can't afford to have a bad day. Yes, realistically you can, but you get my point. You can't afford to be slacking, right? Like nothing's guaranteed. You're fighting for a spot. Just got to finish this a little bit better, but again, not a bad job, especially going against competition he's going against. Gets the job done. But you see what I mean about a little top heavy, kind of struggles with flexibility. You get what I'm saying? Nice job. He ends up doing, great job right here with what he does. But just in terms of just from a technical standpoint, I mean, with him being so tall and so big, he's a little top heavy. Sometimes he has a hard time kind of getting down there. That's why I think he would struggle at tackle. Because against speed, I think with bendy type players, I think it caused them a lot of issues. You see what I'm talking about here again. You see the movement, guys crossing his face. He don't move extremely well like that. So this is one of the things I was talking about with my analysis on him. You know, he's a powerful guy, but sometimes movement, stunts, slants can cause him some issues. So I just got to try to work on getting a little bit better with that. Yeah, too many times people standing around for sure. Definitely that. But this is one of the clips I posted. I mean, pretty good lateral movement right here. Doing a nice job washing this guy down. And remember, this is against a really good Oklahoma defensive line. I mean, if you can get him to do some of these things consistently, that's why I said he's got a lot of tools. I just think he's really raw still because he's so young. But I think he's going to get a lot better too, man. You don't trust coach to fix that. We'll see, man. Movement was killing him. Guys kept crossing his face. He got benched. Yeah. Okay. See, so I don't know who Alpha is, but you definitely are watching tape because he did get benched against, I think, Mississippi State. I was about to say, so this was one of his better games, and this is why I respect all you guys. But like, that's how I know that dude was watching the games, because that is true. Because what happens is people like watch some highlights or something. They're like, man, then they form an opinion. I'm like, man, you got to watch the whole picture because you'll get don't get deceived now. Not saying this guy, but I'm saying in general, like. But yeah, movement, he struggles a lot with that. But I mean, again, it's what do you expect, right? 6'7", 350-pound guy. I mean, it's pretty. I mean, I guess it's pretty. I wouldn't say expected, but I mean, he's obviously not going to have the same lateral ability as somebody that's built a little bit different, a little bit more of an athletic profile. And I think sometimes his conditioning might be getting him in trouble, if I'm being honest with you, because you see, like, as the game goes on, some of these mistakes start happening a little bit more in terms of, like, the drop-off with his technique. Yeah, listen, if we get him right, I think he can be a physical guy at guard. I mean, I think he might be a little bit of a liability in pass pro with some of that movement, but I think he could maybe help get some good push up front, help maybe with the running game, but that's the other thing. Sometimes he doesn't sustain his blocks as well as probably would like for him to in pass pro. But again, that's all technique stuff, man. Like he's a true freshman from this past year. So I mean, he's gonna get a lot better. Anchor down a little bit more. Working a combo block, climbing up to the backer. But see, like even like stuff like this, like those backers that are a little elusive, might be a little bit of an issue for him. So just something to keep in mind. But he got a lot of tools. This is what I was talking about too, in terms of like being top heavy, kind of just putting his head down, not seeing what he's hitting. A little bit of a lack of body control at times, but I almost wonder if that's why I think conditioning plays a role, because you watch at the start of the series, I mean, you see him coming out and doing a bunch, and then you see sometimes later in the drives a little bad technique here and there, but again, all that stuff we can coach all that up. But you got to keep our head up. Got to see what we're hitting. You got to see this quicker. Worst pass program supposed to be against Florida. Yeah, then Mississippi State, he struggled a little bit against Mississippi State. And I think that he got benched. I think the second half they brought in a different guy. But like I said, I mean, what was my initial thing? I don't know. Very raw, technically needs to continue to develop and improve fundamentally, play a better pad level. Moves better than expected, but let's keep working on that balance and body control. Flashes at physicality, but it's got to be more consistent. Pass pro work in progress, must clean up stuff. Yeah, I mean, I will say, watching this game the second time, he definitely looks a little bit better in this one than I think when I wrote the thing I watched this and I watched, was it Florida? Is it Kentucky? I think he started too. Is that who they're playing? Mississippi State. This was probably one of his better performances, honestly. At least from the tape. I don't know about grades or anything, but do you feel like Greg Byrne and DeBoer is taking a 2-year approach in this portal? I don't know. I mean, maybe. That's why he got a bench against Mississippi State. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, exactly. I don't know, Lynn. I don't. I do feel like 2027 could be a really good year for these guys. They're just so young. I'm not saying 2026 can't be good. It's just I have a hard time knowing how this new era works, and you look at all the vets and the experienced players that are playing in the postseason right now. I mean, there's a reason for that. I mean, if you look at we hardly have any seniors on our rosters, guy. I mean, it's a young roster. It's a young group. Texas runs a lot of double teams. Their run game against the second level, really good. Not Grubb's scheme. Seattle run game. Other night told me a lot about Grubb's. We run a little bit of everything in our run game right now. It's and I think that's part of the problem. We don't have a lot of flow to our offense. Saw that a lot with Brooks picking up blitzers. Seems like his head spinning as a freshman a little bit. All fixed with ancient facts. Alpha might have played O-line or something, man. It's really weird we signed so many freshmen from the portal. I get they have a lot of upside. Yeah, that's kind of part of the reason I think my grade for our portal is probably not as high as it could be, just because I feel like we really could have benefited from some older, experienced guys. Yeah. I was just recapping all the games I watched. I mean, if I was breaking down this game, I probably would have, gave him a little bit more credit. But if you go back, like I said, this one was probably one of his better ones. And if you go watch Florida and Mississippi State, you'll see why I was a little bit more critical. Not critical, but just I mentioned what I mentioned in those games. This one, like I said, I remember when I first turned on the tape and out, because I think this was the first game I watched, because I immediately was like, I want to see him against Oklahoma. I remember initially I was like, man, they might have found themselves see the movement. Now, this is stunting the run game, but you see what I'm saying with the movement? He struggles with the movement. That's what I'm saying. He gets heavy. He's a little top heavy. He starts leaning. He doesn't move his feet great sometimes. But what I will say is he gets beat across his face right here. But what I do like this, he's not doing the turning my head and oh shit. He's looking for work. So I mean, I'll at least take that. You get beat across the face, screw it. I mean, you can't do nothing about it now, but you can keep climbing. But I remember watching this one, I was like, yeah, man, this dude is really impressive. And then I remember I got to like the Mississippi State and some of the other ones, and I was like, all right, he's definitely a little bit more raw than I initially thought, but nonetheless, man, I like this pickup. I like Del Gotti. I like this one. I don't know a whole bunch about the Mississippi State guy. Just be honest with you, I really don't. He hadn't played hardly. I think he played maybe like 20 snaps. So and I don't even know what games they came from. I think he'll be fine if he can get his footwork a little bit better, understand his leverage. Yeah. A lot of leaning and reaching, but like his toughness. Absolutely. I agree. But that's the thing. Like, so like when we're doing these breakdowns, like it might sound critical, and it's not to say these guys can't play or won't be good players. It just means just that. You know, they have some work to do, which is, you know, it's just fine. In my opinion, I feel like we could have benefited from guys that were a little bit less of development players and more, all right, this guy's coming in like right now. See the lunging, the leaning, and now we're getting shed or, you know, we're not sustaining the block. Those are those little fundamentals that creep in that we got to clean up. Like he kind of reminds me of like Dewberry, if I'm being honest with you. Dewberry is a very powerful guy, kind of a top heavy guy. Could be physical in the run game, but then he, you know, because he's so heavy up top and leaning, easily gets shed. Don't move his feet great. I mean, I feel like it's kind of a similar type of player. And that's why, like, to me, this one, even though I like this pickup, this doesn't really fit what, you know, we talk about maybe getting their guys in to run their system. I don't think that's necessarily the best fit, but nonetheless a good player. But at the end of the day, you need the bodies. I mean, you really just need players. I mean, I think we had like 5 or 6 O linemen at one point. Maybe not. Maybe it was a little bit more than that, but it felt like that. All right. Probably end on that. I need to get some lunch, man. But I think the guys brought in that are likely to play next year. Solid. Green. Solid, ready to start. Yeah, I like Green at nose. I think Green will definitely help us at nose. You got, and we'll talk about this kind of tomorrow, like where we're at. We'll definitely talk a lot about O-line too, because Mike Johnson's going to join us at the top of the hour. I'm going to get his thoughts on our offense line this past season. Then hopefully he's had a chance to look at some of these players we brought in. But I do like Green at nose. Beeman should be coming back, but, you know, he's coming off an injury. That allows you to bump, you know, Simmons, who still can play some nose. He did it this past year as a freshman, but I like him better as a 3 technique. I think he can excel there. And even the Mississippi State guy, he could probably play a little nose, definitely some 3 tech. So you definitely got some bodies in there. But yeah, I like Green. Tompkins, I think, is a good rotational guy. I agree with you. I just don't know where he fits in, honestly. Because I don't like him as like a true 3 technique. Unless, I mean, if he gets stronger and learns to play a little bit more physical, can hold up better inside. But then the problem is, to me, he's too big to be a bandit full time. And when I say full time, obviously he can, third down, move around and stuff. But I'm saying, like, to me, I don't know if I want like a 290-pound guy in a 5 technique all the time, especially in a day and age where you're starting to play mobile quarterbacks a lot more and stuff. I don't think that's smart. Like the prototype for Bandit is like 270. Hell, you can be 280. Like LT Overton's like 280, but look how he moved. Like, go watch LT. I mean, he moved well, but you gotta have the strength and mass to be able to hold up in a 4-eye. You know what I'm saying? And this guy can too, but South Carolina edge. Yeah, we watched a bunch of him, and my dad taught about him too. I think he'll be. I think he's definitely a solid player. I think you can get more out of him. I think he's kind of similar in a similar situation. He just feels kind of like a tweener. Feels more like a wolf to me, in my opinion. I wouldn't want to put him in. I mean, if you're playing less odd looks out of nickel, and you're not having to worry about him sliding into a 4-eye much, then yeah, if he's in a 5 technique, cool. But the Bandit will be asked to play 4-eye at some points, depending. I mean, when they get in their tight fronts, right? When you're running a tight front out of nickel, right? That's it. He's in a 4-eye technique. The Bandit kicks to a 4-eye. You got a 4-eye, you got a 0 nose, you got a 4-eye. And then you got the wolf, who sometimes the way they do it, they line him up in like that hover spot. So it looks like a 3-3. Can you explain Bandit and Wolf relative to old school terms? Bandit's similar to a strong side. I'll just show you guys real quick. So Bandit is basically like a strong side defensive end, right? But it's interesting. I'll be honest. His system's very interesting. Kane Womack, his system is very interesting, right? Because the Bandit can be like a strong side end, like a typical 5 or 6, but can also bump down and be asked to play in a 4-eye technique. But they can also be standing up and potentially drop. So, I mean, they ask a lot out of that position. So it's kind of hard to find like the prototype Bandit. You know what I mean? Like, it's just it's hard to find that like exact prototype guy. Hell, then when they get into their Gator package, which is like a 3-4 defense, sometimes I've seen them have the Bandit stand up and play more of that spot. It depends on the personnel they want to go with. Let's see what game I could show you guys with. We'll just do Georgia. We'll pull up Georgia real quick. This is the first time we played them, though. So Bandit is in a 5 technique here, right? You got, I think Tim was back at this point. He's at nose, right? So Tim's in a 1 right here, but then you got James Smith. He was playing tackle, so he's in this 3 technique. And then Yanze. So this is like a 4 down, right? Like 4 down look. Yanze is in what we would call a 9 technique on this tight end. So if you're talking about the South Carolina guy playing Bandit, like these looks, it's totally fine, right? That's what he played, right? I mean, that's no big deal. But now look at this. So this is the next snap. Now they just shift. Now, what did you see him just do? Now they're in what we call a tight front, right? So he's in a 4-eye technique. He's in a 0, a shade, right? And then 4-eye, which just means inside shade of this tackle, head up on the center, inside shade of this tackle. And then he's out here in what we would call basically a 9 technique. So what I was saying was with the Bandit, they ask a lot out of this position. So you got to have a guy that can do a lot of different stuff. Like LT was perfect for, because LT had a background of being like an outside backer. He came into college at like 235, 240. So he was athletic to be 280. And so he was the perfect fit for this position because he could bump down in here. Like he can hang down here. When I say that, I know you're like, what? What's the biggest difference of being an inside shade on a tackle and an outside shade? Guys, there's a whole hell of a lot of difference. Like this is what we asked Will Anderson to do a bunch of. And that's why I said he was out of position. Because 240, 250 isn't ideal to be right here. Why? Because there's going to be times, right, when Flo is here and they're reaching. I mean, you're playing into this guard, right? Sometimes you get comboed. 250 ain't meant to be bumping and playing doubles and stuff like that, man. That ain't fun. So to answer your question, it's basically like a strong side end, but there's a lot of different versatility to it. Sometimes you're playing more before which this is like playing this is like playing a defensive end in a 3-4 defense, pretty much. In this front. Which somebody like me, like Yonze, that's not ideal. And I view that South Carolina guy, like he's a narrow, like if you look at him, the way he's built, he's narrow. Like he's not going to want to be playing that 4-eye. So like you talk about Tompkins. Tompkins would be perfect right here at 290. However, I don't necessarily like Tompkins here a whole bunch. You get what I'm saying? Playing in space off the edge like that at 290. That's why I'm saying, to me, the fits are a little interesting, like with some of the guys we got. Would Tim Williams be a Wolf? Absolutely. Basically, the Wolf is like what what we all played. Our Jack and Nickel. The Wolf is a Jack. Wolf is a Jack, and their Bandit is like what well, hell, we play with some big ass strong side ends. So trying to think of recently who would probably give you guys a good example. Like Justin Aboigbe plays strong side end. Hell, I feel like Byron Young played some end too. Felt Bama gave up so much on the corners, meaning the ends last year. I felt on first and second down. We're bad for us with no real speed on the field. Not a big fan of the scheme. They just need a little bit more structure to it, honestly. Like just watching them play sometimes, like how they play, it gets confusing. I feel like it kind of changed. Sometimes we were being more of a penetrator in front. Other times you're seeing us two gap stuff. But anyway, that was a good picture. So first play, the Bandit was in a kind of a loose 5 technique. Now he's asked to play as a 4-eye. Yeah, Jonathan Allen played some end too sometimes. He moved all around, to be honest with you. But yeah, he played some end too. And in college, I think John played around like 295. So that's what I'm saying. I mean, to be fair, I mean, maybe they want to go. Maybe they want to go bigger. Maybe they want Tompkins to play Bandit some. Last time I heard, they viewed him as an interior guy. Not saying that can't change, but that's what I was told. Now you see the Bandit in it's like a 9 technique. Hell, even James Smith is out here. This is a 3rd down look, though, which is kind of very interesting. Can't say I would probably run a bunch of this, but like to me, I mean, I know they're just trying to get to some stuff and just trying to show some different looks, but what was it down in distance? 3rd and 8. Yeah, I mean, like, I want speed on the field, man. It's 3rd and long. I'm talking about, I mean, like, I some of these things, I don't know what the idea was here, but like, I wouldn't have a 300-pound guy and a 285-pound guy. To me, I don't know. I want speed and athleticism out there. Going to be a lot of subbing since we don't have guys that can do. And that's kind of what I'm wondering too. Like, are we going to just say, all right, depending on the personnel we want or who we're playing, we'll be working in and out of a bunch of different stuff. I don't know, guys. I feel like we might not have a choice because there's a number of guys that I just feel like are tweeners. I mean, just take like let's just look at like all right, they play this look a lot. This is that 3-3 kind of deal that they're in right here. That's the bandit, that's the tackle, and that's the nose. So, I mean, I guess if you had Tompkins at tackle and it looked like this, it would probably end up being okay because you got him in a 5. You'd have Carolina guy in this 5, Yonze here, big Terrence Green at nose. I mean, if you're trying to run some more 3-3 stuff like that, I mean, that's kind of an interesting picture. But again, this is like a true odd. This is a 5-0-5, which what's the down and distance? They do this on early downs, and it drives me nuts. This 1st and 15. Do we get gashed? We get gashed. I mean, I would have been a rich man if I put money on that. I didn't even remember what was going to happen here. You know, like this is the kind of stuff, though, I think, like, when I talk about we need to, like, the defense statistically is good, but there's a lot of stuff that we could clean up. Like, this is one of the, like, 1st and 15, like, this is that 3-3 look that we get to where we use our wolf as like a shallow, I don't even know what you call this technique. I mean, he's kind of just reading the flow, right? I remember I was talking to Justin. I think he told me it's either reading, like, playing through the guard, or if there's a what we used to call sniffer / H in the backfield. So I want to say he's just reading the flow. But to me, I just didn't like this because half the time, like, look, first of all, on a running down, like, you're in a 5-0-5, right? I like, look at all this space, right? Number one, these guys are just screaming straight to the backers if they want. Yes, you have this guy here, and sometimes it plays well. So they're comboing here. He immediately ends up climbing up to 4. We overflow to the football here. I mean, like, who's responsible for these gaps? I don't know. We got gashed with this look against I forgot who it was too. I mean, just look at this B gap. I mean, like you're like inviting them. Like, there's nobody playing this B gap. You have a nose that's pretty much 2 gap, and who's getting comboed right here. We're flowing with the football because I'm telling you, like, I think his this is why I say we need more structure. I think they literally just tell this guy kind of just, play with the flow of the ball. Problem is, where's the gap responsibility? It's a nice base block here. He just making sure that he keeps him out of that B gap, which he's a C gap player anyway. Let me see what we got on the back end, see if anybody's supposed to come down. Which looks like we were running a cat blitz right here, bringing the corner. Now, granted, they do a good job of spreading everybody out. So now you literally just have nobody. This little stuff like this is like, but to be fair, if you go and take, this 20-something yard gain away, I mean, our numbers weren't terrible stopping the run. It's just stuff like this is kind of like, all right, come on now. Like, that's just bad ball. That's on the scheme. That ain't on the players. I mean, that's on the scheme. That's just bad ball. Like, you're just gifting them that. I mean, hell, unless they're thinking, oh, well, Quay's got the green light. He's supposed to just trigger. That's what I'm saying. Like, what are this guy's rules? Because when I asked, it seemed like they kind of just playing with the flow of the guard or something. Which, if he's getting comboed, I mean, does he just shoot this B gap? Is he supposed to be a B gap player? You still are missing a gap, though. C gap, B gap. He would be this front side A. So, I mean, if he's either backside or, but you're still missing the gap. Justin's walked out, so he's like in the apex, so he's out of the. Q is way out of position when the ball snapped. He's reading the guard. I think he's reading the guard, but my thing is, to me, that's what I'm saying about like I think they need better defined rules with some of this stuff. I think like, because to me, if you're telling this guy you're a B gap player, I don't know why he would do what he's doing. If you're saying you're reading B to whatever, you get what I'm saying, guys? Pretty sure Q just didn't make the right, but I hear what you're saying, but think about from a structural standpoint. If he knows he's a B gap player, he would have no business. That's what I'm saying. I think because I talked to them, like they told me they're supposed to read like the guard or flow or something like that. They want like, normally like there's rules, right? You might have one backer that's, reading A to C. You know what I'm saying? Like to me, it just seemed like sometimes there weren't the run rules, like the gap integrity was just a little off. I don't know. We can keep on moving though. But anyway, I'm just trying to show you guys a point. So here you go. Here's another 4-eye, 0, 4-eye. So this is your bandit. And you guys see, a 4-eye is not far off from a 3 technique. So this is all I'm saying. The South Carolina guys, so again, it wasn't taking shot at any media people or whatever that guy said. All I was saying was when I see a bunch of people just saying, oh, that guy's going to play a bandit, I'm like, well, how much tape have you watched of him? Because me watching tape, just like I showed you guys the tape, you would see that the South Carolina guy, I don't think you want him in this position right here too often. He's not going to excel there. I'm not saying he can't do it, but you're just soft right there. And again, guys, what is the theme of this offseason? We need to be more physical and dominant up front, right? We can all agree on that. I think putting a 250-pound, slender, high-cut kind of guy right there, I don't think that's smart. So that's why I think he ends up fitting at Wolf. Tompkins, I think, that not 290 is perfect, but then when you need him out here, do you feel good about 290 pounds there? Or is it like Alpha saying, are we talking about we're going to be rotating a whole bunch with a bunch of different personnel? Green was a huge pickup. We needed somebody at this nose spot. That's why I'll talk about Green tomorrow, but I think Green was probably one of our better additions. I know KJ on the phone line was talking about him on the ground, whatever. Again, he's going to need to be coached up a little bit. He don't have a whole bunch of snaps under his belt, but shoot, 6'5", 330. Good length. He's got some good reps of him being physical in there. I like that one. I think London Simmons ends up being a little bit more your 3 tech. But he could slide down and play some nose. He played nose this year too. I think London Simmons is a better 3 tech long term. Now the Bandit's out here in this 5. So you guys see it now. So the Bandit is asked to play a 5 technique. He has to play a 4-eye. So you got to have versatility. I think they have faith in that JUCO kid from last year. They don't. Just being honest with you. I didn't realize how old he was. I didn't realize he's going to be like a senior this year or something. I like this tape. What's weird was I like the guy's tape. I remember watching this tape and I was impressed. But he's got a little ways to go. I ain't gonna lie to you. But I haven't said this yet, and I'm pretty sure this probably will end up happening. Barring something coming up, but I'm pretty sure Jamarian Latham's going to also probably be back next year, guys. I forgot to say that. So we're probably just going to have a bunch of sub packages. Could be. I don't know. We're going to have to see. I just know I'm in agreement with a lot of you guys that say, hey, man, we need some more physicality, some more dominant players up front on line of scrimmage. I wish we could have found more guys that, like, I turn on the tape and I'm like, man, that dude is he's choking the dude in front of him out, That's just not the type of guy. We brought in more like finesse type players like Tompkins, guy from South Carolina, not Green, but Yeah, I think you'll have. I think again, now unless something comes up, but I think they're expecting to have Latham back too. So a lot of people aren't including that in there right now, which is fair. I mean, it's not official, but I think the expectation is he should also be back, which is good because he's a solid player, and that makes you feel a lot better about on a down to down basis getting some quality snaps out of Latham. Which to me that changes my outlook a little bit. Not that I would say like Latham is like a necessarily a game changer, but he's an experienced guy. The body type, the physicality will let him play that bandit technique without having to worry about, is he athletic enough to play here? Is he too small to play? Or is it too big to play? You know what I mean? He fits that mold. So you think this personnel would fit the Mint defense I was talking about? It's just pretty much the same stuff. I mean, in Mint, it's just a nickel front that allows you to play odd. And with Mint, it's just the Mint front is a tight front. So yeah, so whatever we're like, the answer is, I guess, kind of you'd have the same issues in terms of having to have somebody that can bump in a 4-eye, but also bump out. Mint is just a 4-eye, 0-4-eye. Mint and tight front are the same thing. If that makes sense. Yeah. So a Mint front is literally just a tight front out of nickel, which is just, you just see like out of a Mint front that where we had that regular odd front look, we had 5-0-5. You're not going to get gashed like that in a Mint front. You shouldn't, at least. Why? Let me go back. I'll show you. Let's find us a Mint front. What down is this? It's better be third down. It is third down. Thank God. I was about to say. See, like this is another thing I would probably change. Like we talk about needing to get more pressure on the quarterback. This ain't really a recipe to get. I got to see the pressure that they're running, but to me, this ain't a recipe to get pressure on the quarterback. And do we? We almost get a little bit, not really, because he just steps up. But who actually almost gets it? The athletic guy on the field. To me, like these are some of the things like I just like on third down. Why do we have a defensive tackle in our 5 technique, another 300-pounder in the middle? That's fine there, but and a 285-pound guy. Like to me, you should have LT Overton, Quay or Yonze Pierre, and then Quay or Yonze Pierre. Like that's what most people get to on third down. You want speed and athleticism. I don't understand. Like this is the stuff with this system that doesn't make sense to me. You know what I mean? Like for example, like when I was here, like it would be like we would get to something like you could have Anthony, T. Lou, Quinnen Williams, then I could be the buck, what we used to call this. Because it's third and long. Like you like it's a money down. This always it's the personnel. I'm not mad at what we're working out of it. Like this is normal, right? You're running the game. This is just a TE game, right? He's just serving as like a 3 technique. He's setting the pick from like a tackle spot, quote unquote. And he's supposed to wrap and come underneath, which he comes late. It's just the personnel. I'm like, this just is not a recipe to get pressure on the quarterback. I mean, you have a defensive tackle on the edge. To bail the staff out, I don't really think they knew personnel-wise in terms of what they had. Wait, Thomas. Wait, who's Thomas? Am I drawing a blank? Or Keeley? You talking about Yonze? I mean, they knew what they had. I mean, guys, they watched these guys all spring, summer, and even last. I mean, they know what. It's not about necessarily like what they can, like production-wise. I'm saying from a skill set standpoint. Listen, they knew Yonze Pierre could rush the passer. I'm just saying, you could put, even if Yonze hadn't really broken out at this point, I just can't. I'll never wrap my head around it. I mean, it's third and long, and it's time to go get it. We're going to put like a defensive tackle out there. That to me is just kind of dumb. I mean, respectfully, I don't even know if there's a respectful way to put that. So I apologize for calling their decision dumb, but let alone, I mean, it's not like if you had like Aaron Donald, who was a pass rushing tackle, that's totally different. Aaron Donald will line up in the 5, and I would have no problem with that. I mean, it's Aaron Donald, right? I mean, Aaron Donald's Aaron Donald. Opportunity, not ability. Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, man, I mean, there's just there's some things defense needs to get better at anyway. I mean, it is what it is. Or not necessarily get better at, but they need to fix. There's Latham right there. I forgot he was playing this game, but everybody got mad at Damani on this. And to be fair, I mean, he's a free hitter. I mean, you got to make that play. But, I mean, even from this standpoint, I know Bray sees that H-back work across. Or he sees a tight end work back across. But he needs to be outside of this. Delpit or whatever dude's name is. I mean, like, we gotta play a better discipline too. Why am I breaking this game down like this? I thought I was just trying to show you guys a front. I agree. It's done. Been calling it out during the game for 2 years now. Yeah, it's just like certain things, guys, that just like from a football perspective, man, just don't. Exactly. Oh, there's another example. Chris Jones, he can rush out of a 5, but the problem, there you go. Like, that's the thing. We're trying to do stuff that like those dudes do, but there's a reason there's like a handful of those guys in the world that are that productive and efficient at doing stuff like that. There's hardly any defensive tackles that aren't all, unless they're all pros in the NFL, that you can say, all right, you're dominant from the 3, on a down-to-down standpoint, stopping the run, but you're athletic and strong enough to go rush out of a 5 technique to overpower tackles. Like, that's why they do that. That's why they used to put Aaron Donald and a guy like Chris Jones on the edge. They can go overpower. They overpower them with their strength. You know what I mean? And it's somewhat of a mismatch, but they can get away with it because they're also athletic enough to do that. I mean, like, no disrespect, but Edric Hill is not like that. That's there's no reason he should be in this position right here. There's just no reason. Now, this is early on in the season. I don't think we saw as much of this later on, but still, I just especially when you got a whole room of bandits, and I know they weren't, probably necessarily ready, but you're telling me on third down you couldn't send in Renaud or Keeley and just tell those guys, look, man, you're working this game or you're doing this. Like, that's what they're for. I mean, if you don't trust them on a down-to-down basis, shit, if you can't even trust them just to go out there on third down and run a stun or do this, I mean, that's exactly the point, Alpha, man. There's hardly any that actually exist. You know what I mean? And that's why those guys are the highest paid in the NFL. Because they literally can play every single spot on the defensive line and actually and do it at a higher level. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, it's crazy. All right. It is 3:00. I do got to get out of here. I love to sit here and break down film with you guys. I enjoy it, but I got to get some food in my system. I appreciate you hanging out. I apologize giving too much attention to some of the I wouldn't call it negative comments, but just some of the whatever. I do better not paying attention to it, but like I said, it just bothers me when you see what I do here, man. I mean, I sit in here, I watch football 24/7. So I just get frustrated when I got people trying to say ignorant stuff. But if you guys haven't, man, hit that like button on the way out. I appreciate you guys hanging out. We'll be back tomorrow again. We got Mike Johnson at the top of the hour. We'll be breaking down offensive line. So if you guys have been trying to figure out what the hell has been going on with the offensive line, what needs to be done, an overall outlook from somebody that played the position and does a good job covering everything, Mike Johnson will be with us. We'll get those answers tomorrow. Wednesday, we got Clint Lamb at the top of the hour. We'll recap everything via the portal, all that good stuff. We'll keep on rolling. And we'll talk a little bit about the championship game tomorrow. Right here on the Miller's Edge. We will see you guys then. Appreciate you guys.